Well, welcome everybody to a show that's a little bit different. You guys are probably used to now are doing our call-in show, but hey, listen, we're ready to go over the latest news here at USC football. A lot's been hitting us. Signed a former a five-star quarterback. We got an offensive lineman. We got a running back. We even have a cornerback that was added to the team recently. Also, the LA Times is talking about the thing everyone wants to know about. Recently, everyone's been talking about general manager. There's been a lot of questions. So the money's there at our collective. But the big question is why are we missing out on a lot of these calls? We'll remember that a lot of us thought that Courtney Morgan was going to be a guy, is shoo-in, right? With Jen Cohen working with him at Washington, basically together kind of orchestrating that DeBoer season where the player and personnel bring in Penix and all the pieces they needed to surround DeBoer for his success, which led him moving over to Alabama and bringing Courtney Morgan with him. But there was that pre-existing relationship with Jennifer Cohen, and because most of the reports were saying it, he turned the job down, even though we were offering more money because there just wasn't the right fit between him and Lincoln Riley. It's been picking up, Paulie. It's been picking up a little more steam about the fact that USC is imminently going to be picking up a general manager. That general manager, it seems like it's being run by Jen Cohen, who is, again, if you're looking at the recent hires we've had here at USC, going back to Lincoln Riley, but also when Jennifer Cohen came on, bringing together this defensive staff that she did. It's one thing that she's kind of really known for. And we're talking about what happened when she was over there. Yeah, she did have the mistake with Lake, but Jimmy Lake, she quickly changed that situation. Obviously, she was left in a bad position when you had Chris Peterson leave, just quickly like that, and then she came in and was able to kind of right the ship. Get Lake in, didn't work out. She was quick enough to pull the trigger, bring in Kalen DeBoer, seeing all that talent there at Fresno State, bringing him in. He put together just an amazing team. It just wasn't just Penix, but it was really the entire team that they were able to do. And Courtney Morgan, that general manager role, has moved on. He's not USC, but that role is something maybe we might be missing here at USC. I know, Paulie, it's probably a pretty big I wouldn't call it an ego hit, but basically, I think that Lincoln Riley has a way he wants to run it. Remember, Lincoln Riley was not hired by Jennifer Cohen. Lincoln Riley was hired by Mike Bone. We remember the whole thing with Brandon Sosna and Bone bringing him in. A lot of people have brought into question and really upset about the 10-year contract. That's been the latest news lately about people. I'm not one of them. I think this thing is not broken. I think it's on the right direction. I think it's going the right direction. I think that the collective finally, it has the money, is fully funded. I think that the university's finally caught up to speed with how everyone else has been running their NIL program. And now we need USC to make a big hire, a good hire. It appears from the LA Times piece that there's going to be someone from the NFL or the college ranks front office, but it looks like the reason that's why we're waiting, which kind of makes you believe that if this was somebody that was possibly from a smaller school, we would have heard it by now. But the NFL, the regular season just wound down, and we're getting into playoffs. So if a name is not hired quickly, that means that someone's in the playoffs, either in the college football playoffs or if they're in the NFL playoffs. So Paulie, again, thank you so much for joining me. Preston's not able to make it again. He's working tonight. As always, Paulie does a great job pulling in for us and bringing his knowledge and his positivity to the situation. You guys, Paulie and I are going to talk for a little while here, but then we're going to open this thing straight up to you guys. We're going to open it straight to you guys. We're going to do a call-in show afterwards, but it was kind of a hybrid right now. That's why I call it the Trojan Conquest Live, because there's a bunch we need to talk about. Again, Sam Huard, Wingfield, Jordan, and Longstreet coming in. We have Lake McRee coming back. There's a whole bunch we have on the docket. So we're all really glad that you're here tonight. Thank you. We know you have lots of options. You chose to be here with us. We will go through these topics, and then we will be taking your calls in the second half of the hour. But Paulie, I kind of threw it out there. Let's go back. Let's pull it all the way back, and let's just quickly talk about the situation. What are your thoughts on USC imminently, according to the LA Times, about to hire within the next couple of weeks the general manager in order to kind of work that front office and this new idea of finance that goes along with being a coach, there's also the part about these contracts, these big, huge contracts. What are your thoughts, Paulie?
You know, I'm a firm believer. I mean, you look at the model that Stanford's following with the Andrew Luck taking over, from my understanding, and with his NFL experience. I mean, that's just the right way to go. Look at North Carolina as well with that NFL experience. What better way to be able to handle situations like this than a guy with that NFL type of experience that could be able to guide these young players along and help these families out through these situations, negotiating, whatever the case may be, and get things on track. And not only that, I listened to Trojan Blade earlier today, and I mean, he hit it right on the head when it came to, this will be an opportunity for Lincoln to just focus on coaching and get back to, the X's and O's type of thing. But just having that help and that NFL person there, I mean, it just, what a way to pitch to recruits that, hey, I mean, this is a top class organization, whatever, from top to bottom. And I can tell you right now, just by the way we've done it with the way we've gone all in with these head coaches, I mean, we're just showing to people that we're all in every facet of this football program. And what better way to cap it off with getting a good guy with experience, some solid NFL experience.
That's a good way both of you guys put it. You and Gabe, the fact that it just seems like we're doing this thing piecemeal. It would have been great. It has been pretty reactionary. My just initial reaction from my alma mater and kind of how USC's kind of done things going back to the Pete Carroll era. I don't know if you guys remember this, but it's famous where Pete basically asked the administration to upgrade. This is well before the ideas of having these gigantic football facilities, stuff like that. This is way before that. Hey, caller, can you hold on 1 second? We're taking calls in the second half. If you want to hang on for a little bit, you can, but we're gonna be talking about 15 minutes. But you'll be the first one in line if you want to hold on, okay? We'll get right to you. It goes back to when Pete Carroll was talking about he needed just to upgrade the weight room. And you know what the administration said to him, Paulie? They said, you know what? Win a national, win something and then we'll build it, right? It's almost like build it, they will come. We'll win it, and we will build it for you, is what basically the administration said. And so he goes on. We know the story. Yeah, he goes on to win the national championship in 2003 and then 2004. And he asked for that weight room. You know what they said? You're winning national championships. What do you need a weight room for? I mean, it just seems like sometimes our university just seems like it's a bit behind the times. And obviously we know from there, it became in the early part back there, it became building these colossal museums, with weight rooms and recovery centers and spas and Xboxes in every locker room, Paulie. And then it became the thing, that became a thing in the past. You still want to have your really nice facilities, but then it became about NIL, and we know about USC being behind on NIL, Paulie.
Yes, I know. And the thing is that, I mean, I look at it like a program like Alabama, for instance. When they went through that whole phase, when after they won a couple national titles in the early 90s or late 80s, whatever it was, they went through that period, man, where they were completely struggling. That's when they started upgrading the facilities and doing this, and Saban came in, and it just changed everything. And you look at us, we're getting these new facilities that are being built as we speak, and you're getting so many upgrades to this university. You look at the top-notch coaching staff, you look at everything. We're just on the right path, and I think we're finally getting there. We're just a little behind the times, but you know what? I think SC's finally caught on. I think Jen's done a great job as far as trying to get us up to speed when it comes to catching up with everyone. And so I think this GM hire is going to be key to the success of this university. And I can't wait. Because, like we discussed earlier, honestly, I know if we're waiting, I think it's going to be a splash. Someone probably from the NFL, to be honest with you. That's what my gut tells me.
Yeah. And you want someone, the key here is you want somebody who's going to be able to orchestrate, have the experience of working with contracts. I think that USC is maximized. It's not like they've done a terrible job, but this is the kind of situation where just look at the defense. You could look at the difference bringing in the right personnel that know what they're doing on defense can change a football team. And that's going to be, I believe it's going to be the same effect when we bring in people that are professional at this, because it's not like the old days. The player personnel position before was a different situation than now. You really are dealing with these NIL contracts, and whereas you might have been great at before we really need someone who has a lot of experience working with money, working on the contract side of this thing, realizing and having a plan for these and budgeting a plan. Because a lot of the word we've been hearing constantly is that there's been mismanagement, rumors fly around, but it's kind of hard not to run with those rumors when we see that and we hear that the money is there, but we're losing out on numerous guys. Now, that being said, funny note here, everyone freaked out when Chasen Johnson decommitted right away from USC. The whole fiasco with him leaving, and everyone said, "Oh, we'll see what's wrong with USC." Turns out Chasen Johnson is right back where he started from. Right. So you got to remember, you guys, take a deep breath, relax, let the process play out. A lot of times there's some bad news that comes down the pike. For instance, with Emmanuel Pregnon, we'll get into that in a moment. But I'm hoping that maybe Anthony has a brother. Never mind. I'm gonna get into it. That's a bad joke. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for a situation at USC where there will be some clarity. The thing here, though, just like we had the head coaching hot boards and everyone wondering who's going to be the head coach, who had Lincoln Riley anywhere on those lists? Nobody. Right? When we were talking about defensive coordinators, who really had Danton Lynn? Nobody. You know why? Because the old days, it used to be run a little bit more squirrely at Heritage Hall. It's tight. It's a tight ship. A lot of people, even the LA Times, who are the ones that are kind of running the story that there is someone that's about to be hired, there are no names available to us. But I'm with you, Paulie. I think it's probably going to be someone from the NFL ranks that's going to come in here and professionalize that position. And I'm hoping now. There's also rumors that this is just being spearheaded by Jen Cohen. A lot of people are saying that Lincoln Riley has little to no say in this. I'm on the side of saying that I can't imagine this not be a little bit more of a situation where he's going to not be in control of it. But I do say, I go back to what I said. Jennifer Cohen, she received this contract with Lincoln Riley. She didn't hire Lincoln Riley, and maybe there, I don't want to speculate, but maybe the people that are I don't know what you think about this either, Paulie. They're talking about the fact that she's going to hire basically who she wants. She's going to consult Lincoln Riley, but she's going to run with the hire stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
I'm skeptical. But
man, I'm telling you right now, having worked in the corporate world, let me tell you, these companies, the CEOs, people like the Jens of the world, they're 6 steps ahead of us, man. They're planning everything out. They're ready to go. Honestly, we all know Lincoln needs to perform this year. This is a huge year for us as a program, for him as a coach. And I know they have everything mapped out just in case this doesn't work out. But yeah, I know Lincoln has to have some input on it. I mean, he's obviously going to have to get along with this person, and at the same time might have to even change his ways sometimes, but who knows? I know some coaches they're just coaches, and some guys don't want to go out there and have to deal with alumni or deal with any of that. But you know what? That's why I'm hoping we make a splash hit with this next move. Someone who can take that on and make some really smart decisions for us and help get to that next level.
And it really Nick Saban took one look at this and said, I'm out. A lot of other coaches are going to be saying the similar stories. I'm sure those guys, position coaches that probably don't hit the news, but they looked at the situation of college football right now and they said, I think I'm done as well. So listen, change is natural. Change is what life's all about. And you're going to adapt or die. So thus far, USC has been slow to adapt. There's no denying it. From the fact that, their old NIL, when the Tennessees of the world, everyone else were bending, stretching, flat out breaking the rules and then taking people to court as far as, offering inducements for kids to come to their school through NIL. USC was doing it the proper way by the letter of the law, waiting until guys got onto campus and setting up intermediaries. It's good to see after that Tennessee ruling, USC said, okay, enough of that. But think about how many years they're behind in recruiting because of that. When you have the Oregons, when you have the Ohio States and the Tennessees of the world that are pushing that boundary. Now, I'm not saying necessarily breaking rules like Tennessee did, but, pushing the envelope, like maybe on the more aggressive side of that, whereas USC tended to be very, very conservative. And how much did that hamstring USC's early efforts to build these rosters? And on top of that, again, on top of that, how many recruits do we miss out on because of it? And quite frankly, as much of all the talk people have said about USC is always buying players and this and that, and their alumni and their boosters, our boosters and our collective, it just seems like we had trouble getting that all together. We had multiple collectives. They changed the names 20 different times, I think. And now they finally settled on it. And I do believe I've a couple of people I've talked to that really know a lot about the collective situation at House of Victory. I do believe that money is there. And I think this will the final piece. Any last words on, so really it's not news outside of what we heard from LA Times. LA Times is not giving any names out. Yeah. They just said it looks like there's a hire eminent. Quite frankly, you guys, we've been looking to get a GM. We know that they want to get GM in. To say that it's going to be decided over the next couple of weeks when we're in the playoffs and there's going to be somebody probably moving on from their team in the next couple of weeks, it's not like the time frame it could be a good hedged bet. But assuming that they have some kind of a contact, Paulie, it looks like we should be getting some kind of news on that in the following week. So
hopefully soon. And like I said, I mean, look at the way things have been done lately. You hit it right on the head with the Anton. When Lincoln, we had no idea that was coming. We were over here with I don't know how many different other coaching candidates, LA Times, you name them. They all had it figured out. And then splash, Lincoln just landed on us, and DeAnton and Coach Henney. So you know what? I'm actually really excited about it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm really excited too, because the one thing that I've learned recently, it used to be like when USC was waiting to get a hire, it would just be, and we get all hyped up. We have these big names, and we're like, "Who? What?" You know, but you're retaining Helton. Yeah. Wait, what? We're not getting a new coach. I mean, that's what I used to be used to, but now we have Lincoln Riley be joining USC. The entire football world goes, "What?" You know, Danton Lynn, the new hotshot is. We're gonna thank you for your nice toy, but we're gonna take them, little brother. He's now gonna be our defensive coordinator, just out of the blue, that kind of stuff. Out of the blue. So get ready, guys. Buckle up, because I think this is going to be a great hire. I have all the confidence in the world. In the old days, I would have no confidence in this current administration and the way it's been run for the past, even before Jennifer Cohen got here. USC has decided they want to play big boy football. It just seems like we're kind of a step behind. Let's hope this last piece gets in. Unfortunately, the timing sucks, because who knows what it would have been like if we would have got this GM thing last year or earlier this year, because we have missed out. We're kind of mortgaging the future at this point, because I think we may have missed out on some guys that probably could have been useful. But speaking of useful pieces, let's go into that next. Okay, so USC picked up finally its backup quarterback for Jaden Maiava in 2025. Now, a lot of people would think that you have Sam Huard, who was a very highly heralded 5-star quarterback coming out of Bellevue. No, I can't remember. He came out of Washington.
Yeah, out of Washington.
And he initially signed with Washington. We all know about the Huards and their quarterback lineage. Matter of fact, we have one of them, Luke Huard, who is Brock Huard's brother, who is our current quarterback's coach. Now, here's my question I want to ask you, Paulie. The guys, he was injured all last year, so I'm assuming he might have one more year added on. But I'm not sure if he's coming here just to sit. I think he's coming here to push, push Jaden, which was the perfect situation that we wanted. I know that Houston Longstreet is. I mean, I've watched him play. He's amazing. How quickly can he adapt and pick up Riley's offense? But this is going to be a veteran guy, no matter what. That's going to be there for Longstreet, maybe on the sidelines with him as Jaden's playing. But he's not coming here thinking he's just automatically going to be a backup. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I was so excited when I heard about this, about Sam deciding to commit and sign with us, because, I mean, you got to remember, 5-star talent. First of all, he's a left-handed quarterback, which is my absolute favorite. I'm telling you, anytime I see a lefty quarterback, it's so exciting for me, man. It's great. But you know what? He comes from royalty, Washington royalty, Damon, Brock, all those guys that caused us grief over the years, and we're frustrating. Oh, he's part of their lineage here. That guy, I mean, for Christ's sakes, his mom was a head cheerleader at Washington. What does that tell you? The guy's a star. Problem is, ran into some coaching changes at Washington. Came as a 5-star recruit out of Kennedy High, Catholic High in Washington. He wanted to be a Husky his entire life. Shows up, has all the tools in the world to be that guy, to lead that program. It just didn't work out for him. He ends up, struggling. He needs to get his confidence back. He goes over to Cal Poly, the Mustangs of Cal Poly, folks. You probably don't know who they are, but this guy here used to listen to the games on the radio.
I love you, Paulie. You are a true diehard. You are a sicko. You go full sick. You are watching those games. I trust you. I know.
And why did he decide to go to Cal Poly? Because Sheldon Cross, that was his high school coach. He's a smart kid. He knows what he's doing. And Sheldon Cross turns out to be that guy that got him back, got his mojo back, brought Sam back, not to quite the elite status that everyone had hoped for, but he was still a productive quarterback at Cal Poly. He ends up going, he decided to transfer out to Utah, wanted back into the big game, and ends up getting injured. And now he's with us. And what I see from Sam is they brought him in not only, I think it's to push. I mean, you get a guy like this. This is, like I said, you look at his family lineage. You look at who this young kid is. He wants to come in and compete. There's no doubt about it. But yet, what better guy to bring onto the roster? A guy that is a veteran presence that can not only be, that's not going to be caught. He's a good locker room guy. The guys, his teammates love him, absolutely love him. At Cal Poly, that was the one thing that people would rave about is just his leadership and his ability to just get along with everyone on that team, from the guy that was bringing water to the janitors. That's how he is. And that's an element that a lot of quarterbacks don't have, and this young guy has. So if he can pass it on to our future, you know who our future is, guys. Who sung Longstreet? That's the guy. And all these moves we're making is a lot because he is the future of this university. And so bringing in a guy like this to push Jaden a little bit, and also to mentor Husang, I think it's a slam dunk. I love it. But anyway, I'll keep on going. I don't know where Tim went, but you know what? I'll just keep on going. Are you still there, Tim?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was backstage. I was trying to so callers, listen, thank you for we're getting a bunch of calls. I just want to let people know.
Yeah.
We're taking calls in the second half of the show. So hang loose. We're going to cut you all loose. A lot of you guys have a lot to say about the general manager stuff that was on the news. But we want to get through a couple more pieces here, and then we're gonna open the calls up. So
yeah, I'll make it quick.
Loose, we will be going to calls.
Mm-hmm.
And what's that, Paulie?
I'll make it quick.
Yeah, no, we're good. We listen. We're not going anywhere, guys. Don't worry about that. So we just want to get through all the news first, because generally when we do this, we just never got to get to half the news because the calls just start popping from the beginning. So, but we're gonna take your calls in just a few minutes. But we still got a couple more guys we're gonna talk about. Wingfield and Waymon Jordon. I know this broke over the weekend, but we just want to cover a little for those of you guys who don't know about the two pieces, especially our new running backs. We want to get into that a little bit.
So anyway, you want me to jump on Waymon here?
Let's go. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so Waymon Jordon, I mean, the kid's 5'10", 205 pounds, bowling ball type of guy. You know what I love most about Waymon? What I love is how everyone goes, the first thing out of their mouth is, oh, he's a JUCO player. JUCO players suck. He's this and just every negative part of it. You know what I see in this player is that he could have gone to Central Florida. He could have gone to Missouri, all these different universities, and he could have been the man. But instead, he chose to come here. He knows what guys are in front of him or who he's going up against. And for him to come and to say, you know what, I'm going to come here to compete. I want to play. I'm just not some one down back. I want to come here and I want to compete against the best. That's why I like this pickup. I really do. It shows me a lot about his character. I mean, the guy dominated the JUCO level, and I don't care. There's been plenty of guys that have competed at the JUCO level and have made that jump. So I'm not worried about him fitting in. It might take him a little bit to catch up to speed with the speed of the game at this level, but trust me, that mentality shows me a lot about this young man. And then also, let's see here about Waymon.
Sorry about that.
No. Go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just callers. Thank you so much, you guys. We're taking calls about 5 to 10 minutes, but appreciate you guys all being here. Appreciate you guys calling in. And if you haven't had a chance to already, guys, I know we're just warming up here, but if you're liking what you're watching so far, make sure you're hitting that subscribe and like button. That's the key to this thing. We want to grow the channel, and we're gonna be doing these just like this one. We'll pop up when anything news pops in good, and we do like to do the call-in shows, but we're also going to do some more breaking stuff coming through. I think I might start doing some short videos. Why not? I'm going to give Gabe a run for his money. What do you think, Gabe? So I will be taking your phone calls, and you can talk to Paulie and me in probably about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so get that call queue going. We got 3 people lined up.
We're almost there, guys, and Yeah. So if you want to jump on the two other guys, I could jump in right away, man.
Well, really quickly, let me hit.
Yeah.
Let me hit on Jordan really quick too. I mean, I really like his explosiveness, and like you were talking about, people kind of discredit. Well, he's JC. There's been a number of players play the JC level that come on. They're not ready right out of high school to play college football, but the list is long. You know, and to assume, I like what you said there, Paulie, to just assume because he played JUCO ball. I mean, I know the way, the way that you have with the transfer portal now, the JUCO transfer has kind of gone the way of the dodo, right? Because there is no wait time. In the old days, you go to the JUCO level, and then you come right up and start playing immediately. Well, the situation now is with the portal, that's there. So, but it doesn't mean there aren't players there in the JUCO ranks that are available. You want this guy because if you go ahead and watch Gabe's video, that pass blocking or watch any of his tape, pass blocking, and he just has those tree trunk thighs that you love to see.
I love that's my favorite.
You know, we got Brian Jackson, and he's a thumper. We got this guy. He's got that pass blocking down. You know, he's in pass pro, and that's what we want. We wanted someone to protect and give Jaden a little extra time, but we're gonna need to be run heavy, and it's what USC is doing. We're building a really strong running room. Yeah, and that running room is gonna need to be strong because it's gonna be leaned on. I worry, and it possibly could be, that we might have a situation where the teams or the players in that room might start to get a little nervous. But, you know, we have the young guys, Wormley, Dalton, and Eli Sanders, not a young guy, but we're bringing him through the portal as well. Matching up with our two Texas studs, Marion Peterson and Brian Jackson. We saw what Brian Jackson could do in that bowl game and at the end of the Notre Dame game. So USC is setting himself up to be a really strong running back room with a lot of options. And if you don't think one of these guys is not going to break and turn heads, this is USC. This is running back you. And I do believe that we know what we're looking for in our running backs. And they're going to have to play a really key part, because if we have Jaden dropping back, or let's just say Jaden gets hurt and then we have Huard or Longstreet in there and you're trying to throw the ball 50 times a game like we were forcing this season, you know, in crazy inclement weather like we saw in Washington, or going up against really good pass defenses like we saw in Minnesota, Washington, and Notre Dame. It's just crazy. We have to make the move to the run game. I think our offensive line is there to where we can lean on them, which leads us into our next big guy. Like literally, we talked about DJ Wingfield, correct?
Yeah, no, not DJ. We
haven't hit him yet.
DJ yet, and we got Sanders left as well. So I was gonna just clump Sanders in right now, if you don't mind. Yeah, but you know, kudos to Anthony Jones, the running back coach. What a great job this guy's done. He never gets spoken about. No one ever talks about him and the job that he's done with this stable of running backs. They're always come out and they perform when called upon, and they do a great job. Kudos to you, coach, for that. And let me tell you another guy. You know, you look at Lincoln Riley and the staff. When have they ever let us down when it comes to running backs? Marshawn Lloyd, Travis Dye, Woody. I mean, the list goes on and on. And that usually, when we have those running games, I think we're just going to start improving even more and more with Anthony there guiding these young guys. You look at a young kid like Sanders, and props to all my New Mexico people out there. Hey, go Lobos. I'm just joking. Anyway, you go, you look at Sanders, great kid. I got to see him live, and I don't know how many Lobo games I've gone to over the years, and I got to see Sanders live and DJ Wingfield live as well. And one thing about Sanders, man, let me tell you, at that level, you want to talk about track, high-end speed. Once he's out in the open field, he's not really shifty, but once he gets that head of steam and he's gone, dude. No one's going to catch him from behind. Great kid, and another guy, just like Waymon, just like Mr. Jordan, that's coming on board. One thing about Sanders, he could have gone anywhere. He could have been the man somewhere else, but he wanted to come test himself at a university like this. That just speaks volumes to me. Those are the kind of guys we're looking for. Those spirited guys. You got your big guy, and you got your speedy back. Yeah. Both very solid points. And you're right about, Anthony Jones Jr. You hear a lot of talk with Coach Henney. You hear a lot of talk about, lately about Coach Belk in that 26 season and the guys he's bringing in the secondary and his development. But everyone forgets about Anthony Jones and what he did at Memphis, putting guys into the league. He knows how to develop guys. I mean, look at the running backs and what he's done with our running back room thus far. Look at Quentin Joyner and how he was able to develop here in our system. So I do think that I have complete faith in this coaching staff. Again, from top to bottom, it's not a coaching issue. Yeah.
we had all the players, man. Gosh, all those studs we had during the Helton years. If we had the coaching staff that we have right now, oh my God, I don't want to think about it.
Don't even get me started, man. Forget about
it.
But
that's not the situation right now. These young men are coming in, looking for that development, trying to get to the NFL, and I do think that Anthony Jones Jr. might is going to find that guy in this group. There's too much talent in that running back room, not for a couple of these guys to rise to the top and be ready to play day one at USC, because they're going to need to support these quarterbacks in the passing game. I mean, it's great that we have we have top flight NFL receivers, but I do think that our quarterbacks are going to need to lean on the running game and the offensive line. Now we can move into Wingfield. The offensive line, it just seems like it's getting building. This is probably getting more towards your piece. Kind of like, see, it's weird because unlike the times in the past when we're talking about the running back room, where you have the guys that, Travis Dye, that's just, a name. We know that name. Woody Marks, we got him, we know that name. Marshawn Lloyd, comes in and has proven production. That may not be the case this year, but that's what, again, Western development is going to come in. But what they can lean on is what those guys didn't have is an offensive line that is going to be able to block and run block, because there's nothing, Paulie, in this world that an offensive lineman likes to do more than run block, and allowing the size. And we have a considerably large offensive line, allowing that size to get downhill, using Riley, with pulling guards and tackles and just getting out to that second level and crushing some smaller linebacker in the second, in the second level or a third level, finding a safety, just getting the hell out of the way of these guys. These guys will be benefiting from a guy like DJ Wingfield, who's going to bring that veteran presence on the line, which we got to remember, all these young guys we talk about, they're all third-year players now, by the way. My favorite 2023 class, or 2022 class and 23 class, the 23 class is now, these guys can be juniors.
Yeah, and so they're ready.
They are ready, but now we're bringing in a little more depth, a little that man strength, and DJ Wingfield, 6'4", 316. He's a guard, but he can play a little both. That word they love at USC, versatility. He will give them options. They could probably even bounce him out to tackle, but this guy's going to live inside. Your thoughts, Paulie, on Mr. Wingfield?
Yeah, he's another guy I got to see up close and personal, and at that level, going to those Lobo games back in the day. I mean, the guy was a man amongst boys there. He played really well. He had great feet, but I was listening to Trojan Blade earlier in the day, and I know he had some struggles over at Purdue going up against certain guys with size.
Bigger guys.
Yeah, the bigger guys. But you look at his arms. Is he best suited for tackle or guard? The point is we're adding depth and we're adding a veteran presence. You look at Pregnon, people think he was just polished and ready to go when he came to SC. That guy was pudgy. He had bad technique. I mean, the guy was, I don't know how many times he was Ole dancing with some of these defensive guys when he first started. But you know what? It all comes with the development, and that's what we're doing at USC, folks. We're developing these young guys, and we're making them into a player. Take a look at Alani Noah. I mean, God, that guy, leaps and bounds. I can't begin to tell you how much he's developed. But a guy like this, he'll come in, he can play multiple positions, and that's the kind of depth that we need. Once again, when everybody starts doubting us, we'll come in and we sign a guy like this. So I'm happy with this guy coming over to us.
And coming home too. Remember,
exactly.
Like Paulie talked about, he was over at New Mexico, all right? And he went off to West Lafayette and to play with Purdue. Yeah. But now he's coming home, and Redondo Union. I think that's where they held Elite 11, I think, finals. But he's coming home. He's a Southern California guy, and there's been this call to arms to get these local guys to come home and play at home and stay at home. This is just one more step towards that. And so, I think he's going to be a great depth piece. I'm also, you brought up Gabe earlier. I'm really high. Again, I'm very biased for that young group. I think that wait till you guys, I keep saying it. I told you guys about Lemon. I told you before. Everyone was talking about Deuce. Everyone was talking about Zachariah. I was telling you guys about Lemon when he came in with that recruiting class. And now I'm telling you guys, just keep an eye out, because I think that Hayden Treater he's a big guy. He was
big guy.
He was hurt this year. But when we interviewed him last year, I just assumed that he was a tackle. He's all, well, no, actually, I played guard in high school, and I think he's scheduled to play inside at guard here at USC. We know that we have Micah Banuelos, who I've been very high on as well. Both those guys were injured last year, and that could have been a moving year for them. Micah was set to, well, he did. He was backing up Emmanuel in the bowl game. And if Emmanuel goes, I honestly think that he's really going to push pretty hard for one of those guard spots, if not the left guard position. So I'm really excited about that. Obviously competition's great. I don't think this this senior came in order to sit on the bench. So it'll be interesting. Competition's everything. Going back to Pete Carroll, compete. And the more you have to look over your shoulder, that's a good thing. And bringing this young man in to push everybody, whether it's DJ's looking over his shoulder for his senior year, or if it's those juniors or those redshirt sophomores, those third-year guys looking over their shoulders, wondering, okay, what do I need to make my next step here? So, Coach Hanson's taken over for Coach Henson, and going to be interested to see if he can continue the development that we saw with them. And also, again, the big thing about Henson we talked about the last time we did a show. If Henson can put together an offensive line with the talent he has in that tight end room, cue the Joey Olsen picture, you're probably gonna have the offensive lines that we're used to having here at USC. It's simply just a matter of time. So really excited about our pickups on the offensive line, the running back position. Sam Huard is that backup to push Jaden, and then also probably work as a mentor, but also push the entire room to be better, because like we said, sometimes you might mature a little bit later. There's lots of evidence of quarterbacks that come in and they have an injury, or the system doesn't work for them, or like you were talking about, Paulie, there's a coaching change that upsets the apple cart. For some reason or another, it just doesn't work out, right? The kid has all the physical tools, you guys. He literally, and he definitely has the pedigree. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys that aren't the biggest names in the world gel on this team. And that word we would talk about, development. We were talking about these coaches. Are they the lights out recruiters that we've seen at other schools? Maybe that's to be determined. But we know one thing: these guys are developers, and I can't wait to see them. Speaking of development, Lake McRee. I remember this guy was just a guy going in the middle and fearless going in the middle. I remember the first time I heard the name Lake McRee I was at the Coliseum. I was not covering the team. I was actually in the stands, and I'm watching, and he goes over fiercely and absolutely gets helicoptered. And to helicopter a guy that size, he wasn't quite as big as he is now, but he took a hell of a hit, spun around, went all the way to the floor, landed on his back, and held on to the ball. I'm like, who's that guy? So I'm excited to say that he is coming back for another year in an already very talented tight end room. We have this just immense, great block. I mean, I can't wait to see. I love when they go heavy and they go two tight end. Going two tight end with him, and talk about the running game. Remember, Paulie, it all comes together. We want that running game to be solid. A couple of times you saw Cade Eldridge, who's no longer on the team. I believe he's up at Washington. I think, did he go back to Washington? Eldridge? Paulie, you remember?
Cade Eldridge, yeah, I think he did.
Okay, so I mean, so we lose him, but we have those young guys. We got a really talented room. Imagine, so we're talking about big, and he is big. He's a big guy. He stands at 6'4", 250. I mean, putting him up, and just imagine, let's say you have him, and instead of an Eldridge, you have another tight. Let's take a big one. I don't know. Maybe if we put in our big kid from Florida, Walter Matthews, absolutely massive young man. Imagine running both of those guys, pulling them, and maybe a guard, and getting out in front of our running backs. I think it's going to be something pretty great to watch. All that athleticism, all that size moving in one direction, Paulie. Yeah,
you got it. And I was watching Preston's show the other day, and I forgot I was going to bring that up about Riley and some of his tight ends. I mean, you look at Andrews over with the Ravens now. I mean, that guy's been an perennial All-Pro, and so I am excited to see, with the way these guys have been developing. I mean, just in their pass blocking, but not only their pass blocking, but they're catching. I mean, they've been the unsung heroes of our team, to be honest with you. This tight end room has been great. You never hear anybody complaining about everything. They're there to do their job, helping out any way they can, and it's only going to get better this year. I think they're going to be a little bit more involved when it comes to offensively. I think we're definitely going to see a lot more of that this year with those guys.
Yeah. And I like. I mean, I'm not forgetting about Lake McRee. Lake McRee, you saw a huge dip.
Yeah.
When he went out of the game, when Lake got hurt on that screenplay, you saw Miller. He was kind of Miller's safety blanket to me.
Yeah.
Just in a lot of ways. When he went down, Miller I don't know, the passing game didn't flow the way it did. So maybe he could establish that rapport with Jaden in the offseason just to be that guy, if he needs that outlet pass, just to look for Lake, because Lake had an uncanny ability to be open when Miller needed him. So again, that's just one more thing we're adding. So remember, in the portal, we do lose people, but when you have someone who we thought might not be on the team that decides to come back, it's the same thing as getting I equate this to a very high elite portal pickup.
Huge. And last thing, Tim, I remember everybody when he goes down with that knee injury and the way the team rallied around him, guys were crying. I mean, it was you just saw how important he is to this team. And for him to come back, I'm surprised we're not just doing backflips and cartwheels. I love this guy.
Yeah, no, he's nails. And I'm saying it's just a lot. I'm hearing a lot of the pushback, and people are saying, and this is a great point by Archer.
Walker Lyons too. Yeah, this guy.
Walker Lyons got a lot of playing time this year. He really, really did. And we still haven't seen a lot of, Joey Olsen was a prolific pass catcher. There's no other way to say it. And as I talked about earlier, Walter Matthews is just, for a guy that size to be as athletic as he is that room is what Hansen built, and that's why I'm hoping that if that's the kind of recruiting he's doing in the tight end room, I can't wait to see what he's doing in his natural position, which is the offensive line. So, some really great pictures. You guys go ahead if you want to start calling that call queue now. Sorry to the people that weren't able to hang on, but we do have a caller in one moment. Yeah, well, you know what? Are you ready? Let's do it. Want to open up the phone calls?
Yeah, let's do it, man. I'm so sorry I kept talking like that, guys.
Paulie, listen. You were like my favorite caller calling in, and on short notice for you to always constantly come in and help us out here. I'm gonna try to figure out if we can get a show together where just like you and I during the week we can do it. And maybe even maybe not a call-in show, maybe just like we just did now, just sit here and rap for about 45 minutes about USC football. So let's look into that. All right. Hey, hi caller. What's your name? If you're still awake, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
I don't know. You're talking to me?
I'm talking to you. Thanks for being here. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Okay. Rodolfo, calling from Bermuda Dunes, Southern California, of course.
Rodolfo, nice to hear from you again. I think you called in a couple weeks ago. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. So what's on your mind? We got a lot on the table. It's unlike their normal call-in shows.
But I tell you one thing. Polly Walnuts reminds me of when my older brothers would bring up Mr. Chitlin when it came to Cheech and Chong.
Okay. There you go, Polly.
At any rate, what does it look like when it comes to interior offensive linemen and defensive linemen? Who are we looking at? And is that guy from, I haven't checked, but is that guy from Syracuse still in play when it comes to us?
So there was, go ahead, Paulie, because you're a little more into what happened today. We thought someone was coming in, but they actually were not. They're actually visiting across town. Go ahead, Paulie.
Yeah, John Ray Reed. We thought he was on campus, but turns out he was somewhere else. But that's never stopped the Trojans before. Who knows? He maybe can make a sneak visit. I mean, we don't know. But yeah, so and what defensive guys were you asking about, Rodolfo?
Rodolfo, could you turn your TV down and just listen to the phone, because there's a delay on the TV, so you'll be about 5 seconds behind if you wait for that. Was there someone specifically on defensive line you want to talk about?
Well, the defensive lineman, offensive lineman, and then the that gentleman from who was he from? That quarterback from South Dakota State.
Oh, okay.
Gronkowski. Yeah.
Kind of behind on a lot of things because I kind of have my own business, so I kind of like a lot of things.
No, that's okay. That's okay, Rodolfo. As far as our defensive line, just a quick little update. That is probably one of our strengths of our entire football team. We got a couple guys in the porter, Silver and Jarrett, one from Kentucky and the other one from Georgia. Big 300-pound massive guys that are ready to come and be developed here with this with Coach Henny and Coach Nua. And then also the guys that we had last year, they're only going to get better and better. The Braylon Shelbys, I think we're getting Lucas back. And then the other younger guys too. I mean, Cameron Fountain, and I mean, the list goes on and on and on, Rodolfo. But those guys look great. Our offensive line's been developing and looking solid in every aspect. Now we're just adding some depth to it. We got this kid from that was at New Mexico, now at Purdue. He ends up coming over, big 300-pound kid to add some depth. So other than that, man, I mean, those are some bright spots on our team right there, Rodolfo. We're looking really solid, man.
Yeah, and again, we went having that 0 technique and our 3 technique being, interior defensive line kind of being the issue. I think really, I'm not pointing a finger, but if there was a reason why we were losing games late, it's because we just didn't have the rotational depth on the entire offensive line, but especially the bigger guys in that middle, it's just sucking some air late in games. But like you just talked about, Paulie, picking up Silver and Jarrett are 2 big pieces to get that together. But remember the younger people that you're talking like Bulabalavu, right? Mana Bulabalavu and Carlin Jones. If he's healthy and ready to contribute right away. And they picked up that young kid who I've been kind of just fascinated by. As I don't know if he's going to play. He's probably play 3 technique. The Floyd Boucard kid. And don't forget about Jide Abasiri. I mean, so the interior is defensive line, Rodolfo. Don't worry about it. I think they're really the addition of Jarrett and Silver.
If you don't mind, if you interrupt him, I could barely hear Paulie. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yes, the main thing with our interior linemen that I saw, they were getting rather gassed.
Right.
And that's basically that was happening a lot. I mean, it happened to me when I was in high school because I played linebacker, but we were getting gassed. Why? Because I played in a so-called smaller school. We had 4,500 students, but yet we were considered small when we started playing against Norco and then Rancho Cucamonga, Fontana, all that. They were bigger than us. So we started getting gassed after a while, running into those 300-pound linemen that we were not used to when it came to the playoffs. So that's the way I saw what was happening to us when we were going against those other bigger, well, not necessarily bigger at the time. They were just had more of a rotation.
Right, and being lean, and these are big men that are leaning on that interior defensive line. So you do get worn down, and again, I think, Silver at 335, 6'4" is going to be a huge upgrade there. And I don't want to diminish. I mean, Kobe Pepe by himself, honestly, without him in there, you guys, it might have been a longer season than it actually was. And that just shows you the development of Coach Henny. He came in from St. John Bosco, and it was almost, he was like almost an afterthought. He was a great high school player, and he dedicated putting some size on. But without those guys in the middle, the shortest line between a player and a first down is right up the middle. And giving up 4, 5, 6 yards on first down consistently and wearing that middle down is tough. And having a big guy to stand up and let those linebackers eat. You said, Rodolfo, you were a linebacker. Getting those guys and getting a guy like Jarrett or Silver is going to sit there and hold up, maybe even compress that pocket is going to allow those linebackers to fill those gaps and keep that gap integrity and make those plays.
At that time, well, I am still 6'2", but at that time I weighed 225, and I still could not stand up to Ontario Christian and to Norco's size at that time. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the mid-90s.
Yeah.
So size We're on you no matter what. And we had 300-pound defensive linemen. But size does matter. And that's why Lincoln has to recruit Southern California, because we are not that small. I think he has this delusion about Texas players are superior to California players, which we all know that year in, year out, California high schools will always be winning national championships or either be 3, 4, or 5 when it comes down to the whole school, high school football situation.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Rodolfo, great call. Great call. You hit it. You know, I think that they are going to be looking towards.
You know what?
Well, hey, hang on, Rodolfo. Sorry. Listen, we got to move on, bud. I appreciate you calling in. Great call. I don't think it's as much. We talked about this before in the past, Rodolfo. I don't think as much as he doesn't like California. I think it's the fact that his recruiting roots and his coaches, they were more familiar in Texas. It takes a little time for them to get used to Southern California recruiting. That time's now up. 3 years of doing it. They should be ready to roll here in year 4. And we expect big things. And you guess what? Look what Belk's doing. Look what they're doing in California. Took a little time, but it does take time to establish those relationships. Those relationships were established over a decade in Texas, in Georgia, in Louisiana. Now we're seeing the guys get more comfortable. This staff, the defensive staff, is getting familiar with the coaches and the schools and the players here in Southern California. And I think that's all going to change. Appreciate calling in, Rodolfo. Fight on, man.
Thank you.
Fight on, Rodolfo.
Fight on, Tim.
Fight on. Great call. Great call. I mean, this gets a second ovation. Great call. Yeah, I mean, I don't think as much anyone that says that Southern California doesn't have the players, they're not keeping track of what's going on. We see guys going up to, or going to the SEC. We see people going to Ohio State. We see people going to Georgia, Alabama, the best schools in the country, right? Best programs in the country. And it's no surprise. USC, if it's done right with the players we have here, Paulie, there's no reason why we can't just pull from SC like Carroll did and just go out and pluck the first round draft picks from the rest of the country, which was basically his model. Hi, caller. Yeah. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Carter. I'm in Vegas, bro.
Who's this?
Carter.
I know a Carter, but you don't sound like him. Hey,
yeah.
Carter from Vegas. How you doing? You're in Vegas. Sorry.
Man, I'm good. Yeah. I'm in Vegas. I'm from LA. But I'm in Vegas. So, yeah, man. First off, I love your content. So,
thanks.
I rarely catch your shows. So it's a blessing that I can catch a show and call in. I love Paulie. He's a regular caller, so I hear him often. I just love your content. Appreciate Preston. I'm a new subscriber to both you and Preston, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, hang on. Hey guys, you guys remember to check out Preston. We haven't said it yet. Check it out, Preston Paradise, one of the fastest growing channels here in our space. Young man is absolutely talented, putting out content multiple times a week, almost daily. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Preston's Paradise, get on over there. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? All right. Sorry, Carter. Go ahead.
No, bro. No need to apologize. Yeah, of course. A plug for you, a plug for Preston, and of course, Trojan Blade, which has become like my update, my news, especially during his transfer portal. He kind of got me with the cornerback that went to SMU. So I was mad at Trojan Blade for a few days after he got burned by that, because I felt like maybe he jumped the gun on the reporting, but I just don't know if the kid maybe just leveraged SC for more oil money from SMU.
Well, no. Did you hear?
But
he's chasing Benjamins all the way back. He's all the way back. He's all the way back to what was he? UCF? Where did he start at? Where was he? UCF or
Florida,
USF?
Right? Yeah. Back in,
yeah.
I think it was Central Florida. Right?
Central or South. Yeah, the Bulls. Florida. It was Central. Yeah, he's back. He pulled himself out of the portal. So that's why I started off with that. It said that
wow.
No one jumped the gun. That guy flat out wanted to come, but he's just, it's NIL and the money keeps going. And one thing I do appreciate by our staff is they're not going to jump. They're not going to overpay. Speaking of overpaying, we could talk about the Pregnon situation. Scott Schrader, I was hearing similar things, but I mean, Scott is pretty damn tapped in, when it comes to recruiting. Scott Schrader, I'm listening to him, the guys at Rivals, and then and listening to Gerard Martinez, at 247, they're all pretty plugged in. And I was hearing kind of similar things about, and I've talked about this before, sometimes you can go after and overpay a guy that you need, but you may not need that much, but you got the extra money to overpay because you're going to hurt USC in the process. If that's true that they got to a bidding war to take Pregnon, it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy to where even within your own conference, you can go after conference rivals. So pretty interesting. I'm sorry, Carter.
No, bro. Like I said, no need to apologize. I like listening to you guys, but man, I really wanted to get your opinion. I know the chat they hate me for saying this, but
they hate me too. Don't worry.
All this rumor about. Well, trust me, bro. I got so much slack. I'm a football lifer, and this chat just loves to argue with me. But Maeva, he's talking about, or at least Miami is courting him hard. And I like Rashida. I'm really not opposed to bringing Malachi back. I don't know if
you just lost me
still in the portal or not. But you see, yeah,
he's with UTEP now.
I like those guys. I never disliked any of them. I mean, I think Miller Moss was a little fool's gold. I think the Hollywood Bowl, we kind of got drunk on that performance. I think the LSU game was a little hair of the dog. And then we had a wake-up call come conference play. I mean,
man,
3
Carter,
to 4 to maybe 5 of those losses.
Carter, I love you. I love you, man. But listen. Did you watch the second half of that Michigan game?
Bro, I watch yes. I watch the 2 hours of pregame before the kickoff. On the Trojan Live. Yes,
until that interception against Penn State.
Go ahead.
Until that interception at Penn State at the very end of the game, which he sailed that ball. There's no doubt about that. But he threw like 50 balls. Until that, did you watch him carve up that Penn State defense as well? I'm talking about Miller.
I did. And no, look, I mean, there's blame to go around.
Oh, yeah.
This is my thing with Miller, okay? We were in every game in fourth quarter. We either had a lead. I think we had a lead in every fourth quarter. So that comes down to individual play. We can't blame the offensive line. We can't blame surely lack of depth is an issue on defense. But if we're winning the game, then we need the quarterback to make winning plays during winning time. And there was about 3 to 4 to 5 games where Miller Moss literally didn't make the winning play. And you can't have that from your quarterback. Like if your D lineman or your D back makes a bad play, there's somebody there to cover for him. When the quarterback makes a bad play, generally speaking, you either kill a worm or you throw it to somebody wearing the wrong color jersey. And neither of those are effective outcomes when you're trying to win the game. And that's really my memory. Other than the LSU game, my memory of Miller Moss is him making the worst possible play during winning time, despite keeping us in the game for all those games. When it came down to individual play, which is really what it's all about. When it's time to win, you need your quarterback to make winning plays. Miller Moss wasn't doing that for us. Now, people knock Jaden, but even with the Notre Dame game and the mistakes he made at the end, I really think there was a no call. There was a PI, no call. But Jaden was making winning plays. Like everybody talks about his footwork and all that stuff and, how sloppy his mechanics are or whatever. But when it came down to winning time, he was making winning plays for the team, where you can't really say that about Miller Moss.
I mean, look,
Carter,
look.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm not. A lot of what you're saying is true, a lot of it. But I think that you kind of like a lot of people in our fan base are suffering from the my guy. This is my guy. This is a guy I called. I wanted him to be moved in. Blah blah. And you're seeing some of Jaden's blind spots. On the player talk about the PI, I've heard people kick that around. Oh, it's PI. It was PI. No, listen, the reason why that play didn't work is because the receiver and the quarterback were on the same page. Now, do I put that on the receiver? Do I put that on the quarterback? Do I put it on the fact that they just, didn't have a lot of reps together? I don't know what that happened, but clearly they were not on the same page. The receiver had a step. That ball, Jaden made the wrong read on that. Jaden should have put that out over his shoulder and let the guy make it. Probably catches a touchdown. But he went one too many times. They were burning that guy, that corner, left, right, and center on that back shoulder pass. And you go that well one too many times. Hey, look, that's a great play in football. But, even at the collegiate level, a guy, you show it to him too many times. He was sitting on it, and he picked the ball off. That's as simple as that. Miller gets all this crap for, again, people forget, we call it fool's gold. I was there at that game. I was in the end zone, right? When Woody ran that thing in. I thought oh my God. I was talking to one of the staff photographers for USC. We're like, please don't come out of a kick. We thought he might even miss the kick. like, and then Woody busts that thing in. But that was all really that was Miller and Moss leading that team together. I have a problem. I don't have a dog. I've never had a dog in the fight. I'm a USC fan. I don't pick my favorite, guy. I don't do that. I look at who's going to put USC in the best position to win. Early on, that was clearly if I watched Jaden the middle and towards the end of the year, Jaden would have been in big trouble. He just got on campus. To throw him in there against LSU, that would have been a huge mistake. And in Michigan, you might have ruined him in Michigan. So hold on. So the calls of who's better, they're both flawed quarterbacks. They both play great at times, and they both have flaws that need to be worked on at, Miller's got to work on that at Louisville, and Jaden's got to work on it at USC.
And
neither
Carter,
one of them's a complete quarterback whatsoever.
Yeah. Carter, I just wanted to add to Carter as well
and you're right.
Wait, hang on, Carter. Go ahead.
Well, Carter, I just wanted to add as well.
My bad.
No, come on, buddy. I mean, I appreciate the love, man. And I just wanted to chime in that's the reason why we bring in a guy like Sam Huard today. It's a guy, those quarterbacks do need that competition to push each other. And the kid that we brought in today, he's a former 5-star guy. I hate the star ratings and everything. It's the competition that we're going to have there, and mentoring who's son. And right now, Jaden, we've said it time and time again. Tim and I were blue in the face about him. Let's see what he has the whole offseason with this team, and let's see what kind of improvement he makes. But really, to be honest with you, they do kind of have a lot of similarities as well. I mean, him and Miller. I have nothing bad to say about either one of the guys, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I like them both, to be honest with you. But whatever helps us win, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, and true that, and fight on. I mean, my whole thing is, and I think Miller benefited from LSU being the first game, so they really didn't have a lot of film. They didn't, and I think he definitely threw a couple of dimes. I don't know how much of that was more Kyron Hudson than it was.
Come on,
Miller
Carter,
those balls,
dude.
Those are two. Wait, I'll say I'm a
Come on, Carter.
So I like to give credit to the receiver.
Okay,
those are two big time catches. Those are big time catches.
The one over the middle definitely was all him. That one-handed catch, that was all receiver. But and the catch he caught when he got the targeting. The targeting shot was a testament.
Yeah, that was it.
But that ball was right there. I mean, he did his job. He moved the ball down the field. The fact that he held on the ball when the guy targeted him is just an added bonus of 15 yards. But the first down reception and the throw down the sidelines, at least to get them in field goal range for sure, or long field goal range. I have no problem with people pointing out Miller Moss's shortcomings, because he did have some issues, especially late in the season when he took all his hits. But you also have to. Would you agree that the offensive line that Jaden played behind was significantly improved from what the crap that Miller had to deal with early in the season? You'll give me that much, won't you?
Without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt. And I'm not even hating on Miller Moss. Like you. I'm a FC guy. So I wasn't mad about Miller Moss being a starting quarterback. I just feel like limitations. I think running RPO when there's really no true run option is bad football. So when you have a suspect offensive line and a quarterback that isn't really going to run the ball, then all you have to do is cue on Woody. And he still was a yardage machine, but now when you put a Jaden back there, now you have to keep the defensive ends and defensive tackles and linebackers honest, at least for a step or two.
Yeah.
And then you create a little bit of space for him to pop the ball over. With Miller, by the time we got deep into the conference, the tape was out on him. Like he's never gonna keep the ball on the RPO. So all you got to do is when you see that action, or when you see the mesh point, just focus in on the running back. Sell out on that. Or just drop 7 or drop 8, whatever they were doing, and then he's going to throw the ball into the ground or throw an interception. And that was the recipe for success. We could never close out games.
If I'm ever a glutton,
and I heard everything you said.
Yeah, I got you. You make sense. If I'm ever a glutton, I really want to do is I'm gonna go watch 2 or 3 games with Miller Moss, because right, you played football. So the key is you're gonna read that defensive end. If he's crashing down, then yes, you keep the ball. I'm trying to remember all the times where the defensive end was crashing down and Miller just handed the ball off anyway. I mean, we can go back and look at clearly it wasn't clean on every play, but at the same token, I think that we gave Jaden a little more credit than he probably deserve, because I was expecting Jaden, and I was. I mean, I'm not talking any crap. I thought, like, okay, cool. Now we're going to see a true, situation where, like you're saying, that he's going to be able to pick up yards. But I mean, he picked up a great third down. I saw Miller do that. I mean, I don't know. I don't. This happens every time. So people are so, like, I think, one direction. I come off sound like I'm trying to defend Miller. I'm going to defend Miller in the fact that both quarterbacks were flawed. None of us were at practice. The person, Lincoln Riley, making the decision at practice every day. We had people saying, "Oh, absolutely, Jaden should be in there." They didn't see a single freaking practice. How do you know Jaden should be in there? It's one of the most absurd comments I had to deal with all year from the fan base. Come yell at me on the line if you guys want to, but unless you were at practice, how do you know that Miller wasn't at that point giving them the best chance to win the game? And as soon as he wasn't, you saw Lincoln Riley pull the plug when Jaden picked up enough of the offense to show off his superior physical skills. That's when we saw some Miller, some Jaden. But I gotta be honest, I think Jaden had worse numbers than Miller. If you look at the interceptions, if you look at the passing percentage, if you look at all the statistics game by game, there wasn't a huge difference in the two quarterbacks. And I think they're both flawed. And listen, I appreciate your call, Carter. We got to move on. We're talking about rehashing last season. That's a great call. Listen, I have no problem with 90% of what you said. What always gets my back up is when people try to diminish Miller. And that's when I go, I'm not saying you're doing it specifically, but a lot of people want to make it seem like Miller didn't do anything. Geez, we would have been in trouble if Jaden started from game one. I'm fairly certain of that.
I wasn't trying to say that. I appreciate you. Fight on, bro. I love Miller. I love Jaden. I love the Trojans. I love you guys.
Yeah, we love you too, Carter.
Right on. Good call, man. Good call.
Right on, brother.
If you call back in, yeah, it's a great call.
Yeah, great call, man. Carter's awesome.
Yeah, that's the oldest. That conversation has been going on too long, Paulie. That conversation has been going on too long. Hey, guys, do me a favor. If you're out there and you're enjoying the show and enjoying Carter letting me have it, which is rightfully so. Like, again, I understand the frustration from last year, but if you are enjoying any part of the show, please hit that like button and subscribe. Why not? It's free, and you'll know when we go live, which we will be doing throughout the off season. There is an off season. Yes, we do acknowledge the off season, but it's fun. We're still gonna have these debates. We can go deep dive. We could take a look at the statistics. We can go really deep into stuff if you guys want to and talk about the quarterback situation. I'd rather let that thing die. Jaden's the quarterback now. I think that he has a full offseason. Add on to the offseason he had last year, plus the experience he got at the end of the season. I think that with Lincoln Riley, if we believe Lincoln Riley is the quarterback whisperer, we say is he's going to be ready. Or I'll tell you what, maybe Huard turns it on, and we talked about how sometimes these guys early in their careers, things just don't fit. I don't know, right? He looked really, I got to be honest, he did not look great in the game against Washington State that he started when he was at Washington. But who knows how a guy will turn his career around. And then Longstreet, man, I've watched him at Corona Centennial a couple of times. At Elite 11. I'm really excited to see how far he can get along between now and August.
Tim, that one thing, when you look at Longstreet, what amazes me most about him, I'll make this really quick. It's his maturity is just it's off the charts, man. I see him there in Los Angeles. In Vegas over here, trying to just connect with his teammates and walking around and talking to people. But that body type that he has as well, that arm, everything. It's just he's the future of this university, man. And I can't wait to see him in action. But you bring in a guy like Sam. And you have Jaden there battling it out. Just not even battling out. It's just bringing healthy competition and helping the youngster along. That's what I'm all about, man. At the same time, we'll see what Jaden has and what he has, dude. If he really wants to take it to that next level, and I know he has. I've been a big Jaden guy. I loved Miller. I love Jaden, and I think I'm the type of guy where let's see what the offseason does for this kid. We'll know by the second game. If he's made any improvements or not, first game maybe. I don't know, but let me tell you though, I like the situation that we have now. This is exactly what everybody was asking for. A guy we brought in today, a Huard, this is what everybody wanted. We finally do it. And it's like,
Yeah.
there's always something to it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I think he's going to push the quarterback room a lot more than Emmett Brown would have pushed it. Let's put it that way. And,
you got it.
And again, I hope that under Luke Huard and under I keep wanting to say Pete Carroll. Oh God, sorry, it's late, guys. And under Lincoln Riley, I hope that he just takes that next step, because the better these guys get, the quicker Longstreet comes along, the bigger the leap that we know Jaden's going to make. How big's that leap going to be? It's just going to make that quarterback room stronger and stronger.
Yeah. And go ahead. Sorry, Tim, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, and just remember when we start doubting Lincoln and saying he's not the whisperer, just remember what he did with Jalen Hurts. That guy was damaged, his confidence, everything was gone. And look what happened. So there you go.
No, absolutely. All right. Sorry, caller. Finally to you. Really, really appreciate you hanging in there. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
No worries. It's Brad from LA. I talked to you guys last week, a couple of days ago, I believe, from Los Angeles, Mid-City.
That's right.
Yes,
back,
Brad.
man.
How you doing, Brad?
Back for more, huh, Brad? Okay.
Yeah. Brad, back for more. I just wanted to kind of echo what you've, Tim, been saying actually all season, and I couldn't agree with you more. And I hate to do a postmortem on the season, but like Miller, in my mind, was great he operated the pocket great. He was a very intelligent player. And, if the O-line was better in the beginning of the season, I don't think he would have been benched. And even though I love Jane Mayava, and I would agree physically, he might have more attributes, but how he uses his physicality is different. Miller just moved in the pocket great. He knew when to throw the ball away. He moved forward when he needed to, and he made incredible passes with pressure. Jaden, who I like, and he's my quarterback, so I'm going to back him. He just seems a little bit of the deer in the headlights. He telegraphs his passes. The corners, the DBs kind of pick up on it. But he's going to evolve, and under Lincoln and under our quarterback coach, I think he can get better. But I really do feel if the O-line played a little bit better and there wasn't mounting pressure on Lincoln to make a move, he probably wouldn't have made the move. Like he threw the worst interceptions at the worst time, but for most of the offense, he was a general. He knew what he was doing, and I really respect him, and I hope he does really, really well at Louisville. I mean, he's a Trojan through and through.
For sure.
And I still think Jane has all the raw abilities, but when he runs backwards. He's kind of running with his head cut off. He doesn't have the presence of, and he's just jittery. And, that'll get worked out in time. So, and I have a feeling that if we have some great running backs coming in, we have those two really good running backs. And the biggest thing is going to be the line. And I don't know if we have any more information about that Syracuse center. And who knows, maybe the Pregnon thing is a negotiation tactic. Maybe somehow we're able to pull it with a GM coming in. I guess the question I have is, and I'm sorry, I was trying to operate I didn't want to for you guys to hear feedback. So I'm on my phone, but I'm pausing on my iPad. That's how I listen to your guys' podcast. So I don't know if you already covered this, but is Sosna a legitimate, and I know he's the one who he was instrumental to getting Lincoln. And yes, I know that this needs to be a Jen Cohen hire because it gives a little bit more autonomy with the athletic department, which I think is good pushback on Lincoln. So he might make some moves that, a good GM might help facilitate. But I really do feel like Mayava, if we run the ball with three pretty solid. The 2 transfers, Brian Jackson, who knows if Amarian Peterson's going to stay, because who knows, maybe he will. That would be great. But if we run the ball 30 times and not 50 pass plays, Jayden will play. He'll just be a better quarterback because it's not going to be so much pressure on him having to use his arms. Because I think everyone was kind of, including me, when I saw his UNLV tape, I was like, oh, this guy's going to be mobile. He's going to get downfield. And to be honest with you, Miller, after he got hit doing that one touchdown run, I don't know if he got a little bit of gun shy. I don't know. But, like, I really, hindsight's 2020. Who knows with Jayden? He's our quarterback, so I'm rooting for him. But I really do think that Miller got a little bit of the shaft, a little bit. I mean, they had to make a change. I get it. He made those critical interceptions at the worst time.
Let me hop in. Let me
in the pocket. He moved.
Hang on,
quickly.
Brad. Let me hop in. Yeah, no. Again, you make valid points, and again, I want to get away from I had to deal with weeks of this Jayden versus Miller stuff. I'm sorry if I'm being a bit curt on it because it was what we really talked about ad nauseum. No, but let me just really quickly. Yes, I think Miller. If you want me to compare both quarterbacks in the pocket, I think Miller moves with intention. His movements seemed intentional to me. Moving up in the pocket when he needed to move up in the pocket, finding time, being aware, trying to feel that backside pressure. I think he did a pretty good job of it, but not like I mean, once you get off Caleb's had like a sixth sense. That guy, his pocket presence was just insane. He knew exactly when to take off. He knew exactly where to move in that pocket, step up. And I do think, here's the funny thing is I think that Jayden was playing with a better offensive line. So there was an opportunity to step into the pocket a little more. And I do feel you. Sometimes it seems like my big knock on Jayden has been, again, just a lack of poise, but I keep going back to the point is that comes with getting comfortable. That comes with reps. That comes with knowing the system. That comes with knowing your receivers. There's a lot that Miller had baked in from the years of experience he had with SC that Jayden did not have. So to compare the two on that level is quite frankly unfair to Jayden. I will tell you, I think people overemphasize the interception situation for Miller than they do, because you are right. He threw about an interception a game. He was in 9 games. He threw 9 interceptions. But Jayden threw what? Like, I don't know how many Jayden threw, but he threw more per game. I mean, I think people forget this, but he threw more per game than Miller did. I mean, I think Jayden had like 6 picks in 4 games, and three of those went back for pick sixes. So I mean, it's if we're going to talk about the rule, and I think what eventually did Miller in was not as much that he was throwing the interceptions, which doesn't hurt. I mean, again, you want to look at talk to Spencer Rattler about throwing interceptions and turnovers, fumbles and turnovers on a Lincoln Riley team. It's how you find the bench. But it was the when they were thrown, the backbreakers that they were. I think you're right on that. But it's not like Jayden didn't have those moments either, where it's like ooh, so close, but we didn't have it. So let's put this one to rest. I'll let Paulie hop in here really quickly. But again, like. I can't say your name because I know what that means, but I'm telling you, when people say that Miller threw away games, so did Maava. I don't believe either one threw away games. I think that there's 21 other people on the team that could have made plays where those interceptions would not have mattered. If those, for instance, the interception against Penn State, if USC just stops them. If USC's defense on one of those 3 third or fourth downs they had, 4th and long, you get a stop here or there. It's the interceptions, you're going to overtime. Do you know what I mean? I mean,
I agree. Yep. Totally.
Yeah. Sorry. You're not going to overtime. I'm sorry. Totally. On those 4th downs, if they didn't give that last touchdown, they get that stop on those 4th downs. You're not going to overtime. So anyway, I'm so sorry, Brad. Great points. Really great points, but. I'll let Paul in here, but I am so over this. Both are great Trojans. Both were solid quarterbacks. Lucky USC I think they both maximized what they could do in that year. I think they really did, and they both played behind a spotty offensive line, and you can't sugarcoat that at all. I would have been great to see how either one of these guys would have played with that 2022 offensive line. I think it would be a lot different.
Can I just say something to Brad before he goes? Is Brad still on?
I think we should
wait. Hang on, Brad. Go ahead, Paulie.
Brad, I just wanted to say I absolutely love your positivity, man. You bring such a good vibe, man, every time you call in, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, and fight on, Brad.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. And the only other thing I wanted to say was, well, two things. One,
wait, Brad, you get one. Brad, buddy, hold on. You get one more thing, because I'm sorry, we got other callers, and I do try to give you guys a long leash, but I've lost 2 callers because I'm kind of hanging on a little bit too long with these calls. Sorry,
okay,
just make your point. No, it's okay. Just make your point real quick.
We're not as far as people think we are. I think we're really close. So just a few tweaks here and there, mainly the O-line. And if we get that center and maybe a Pregnon replacement, I think we're going to be really good next year. That's all. Fight on.
There you go. Can't agree more with that last section. I would throw in, maybe I'd like to see maybe a little depth at the linebacker position. I think that might also go a long ways to make me feel a little bit better. But that's a great call. Really good call. Thank you so much, Brad. Yeah, Brad, 2 solid calls in a row. Appreciate all you guys being here. Looking to get, I think Carter was the first time caller. Really love hearing those first time callers. We've had some really good luck the last couple of weeks with first time callers, just bringing it. And remember, listen, we get great calls here. You don't have to come and talk for and have 4 or 5 points. You guys just want to call in and say hello to Paulie and just bow down to his greatness. You can do that as much as you want. Call in and just all I ask you is let's talk USC football. We just had 4 really great calls, and I think that sometimes might intimidate some people. I'm just looking for people that love USC to call in and tell us what's on their mind. Hey, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Call, you there? Oh, you're on with Paulie Walnuts. This is your shot. Are you there?
Hello.
One more shot. Caller, are you there? Man, I hurried Brad up, and you're not even ready to go. Going once. Going twice. All right, call back, caller. I don't know what happened. We got a caller from New York. Got a couple people in New York. It's late in New York. Got a couple of people in New York that I know I would love to hear from.
I love it. I love the New Yorkers.
Oh, no, Paulie. We're not talking Yankees. We're not talking. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Tim. How's it going? This is Dr. C calling from Houston.
Hi, Dr. C. How you doing? Long time no see, Dr. C.
Yeah. But I had to call in tonight because I'm worried about our O-line coach. Help me feel better.
Okay. Well, what? First off, is it because you're not familiar with Hansen? Now, here's my question to you: were you one of those people that were constantly getting on Josh Henson, fire Josh Henson, which we've been hearing for like 2 years? Were you one of those guys?
I wasn't quite fire Josh Henson, but I thought we could get someone better.
Okay. And how do you feel as he's now going out the door and we watch that offensive line and what they were able to do and come together again in their basically second year, that unit kind of gelling, and we saw the evolution of Elijah Page and what we were able to do. I mean, everyone's belly aching over Emmanuel Pregnon, and this is a kid that kind of cruised in and no one even know who he was really. And he's leaving possibly for a lot more money than he may even be worth because he's been that much of an improvement here at USC. I'll let you go, Paulie. So I talked about briefly. Go ahead, Paulie.
No. So Dr. C, the one I can tell you right now, just to hopefully this makes you feel a little better about the situation. But when it comes to Hansen, I mean, not only has he played the position before, but the way the rapport that he has with his tight end room, and then not only that, the way he would branch off and help out with the offensive line when they were struggling, he had a big part of that in getting them prepared and helping out with the situation. And because tight ends and offensive linemen, they work their hand in hand. So So, and the respect level that they have for him. But on top of that, the guy's an amazing recruiter. He does such a great job out there, bringing in guys like Deuce Robinson and all these other guys that he's brought in. But you know what? The way the players responded to me, especially Elijah Page, whenever they said we wouldn't want anyone else besides him, and they were so happy about the decision, that just said it all for me right there. And I've been sold on the guy since day one. I absolutely think he's phenomenal. He's going to do a great job. Look at the guys that he's been able to keep after our offensive line coach leaves. I mean, they could have transferred out immediately, but they're sticking with us, Dr. C, and that's one thing to really look forward to, man.
Yeah, he's a hot young coach, and there's no denying what he did in the tight end room. I mean, the tight ends, the recruiting, and then executing, and especially in the run game, I really liked what we saw from the tight ends. I would have loved to have seen more in the passing game from the tight ends, but I'm not sure if that's as much a function of the tight end or the tight end room or the tight end coach than it was with the quarterbacks. Like I told you about with Miller, it just seemed like he'd always find Lake McRee when Lake McRee went down. But when Lake McRee's been healthy, he was a very healthy part of that offensive line. We saw that late in the game, halfway through the Las Vegas Bowl, we saw the tight end get used in critical moments. But it's been an integral part of the blocking, and I think the blocking has been fairly consistent. There have been some times where I have not been happy with the tight end blocking, but overall it's been really solid. As Paulie said, it's his natural position. He played tight end, so he had he coached Tyler Smith according to his bio notes. I remember this, and basically he was a freshman All-American. I mean, I don't know, and he went on to be drafted too. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know too much about him. There's going to be some concern, but I think so far the hires at USC under Lincoln Riley, with the exception of Alex Grinch, have been very solid. So this might be a wait and see kind of thing. There's just, I mean, to be honest with you, there's just not enough data on him, Dr. C. Do you know what I mean? We've seen what he's did in the tight end room. We've seen what his recruiting's been. We know he's naturally he was an offensive lineman, so it's probably the language that he speaks best. But I think it could be a wait and see kind of thing with him. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm always a fan of big programs, of course, hiring people with experience. And I know he's been the O-line coach at Tulsa. And he did get some guys to get invited to the combine and even the league, I believe. So obviously, there's optimism, but I always feel better when it's someone that's, for a school like USC, I never feel like someone should learn on the job with a team like USC. That's fine at Stanford. That's fine at UCLA, Oregon State. But USC, I really feel like you got to be accredited, right? Because this is a blue blood university, right? Yeah. That's the only thing. But I'm going to be cheering him on, and hopefully he does an outstanding job. Last thing, do you think Emmanuel left because coach left, or is there more? What's going on there? What's the latest?
So I've been hearing a couple. I mean, yeah, you hit on the head. That's what I initially said. It's when your offensive line, when your position coach leaves, there's always that effect, right? This is. He's coming back because he wants to put film on to improve his draft stock. He wants to do that on a strong line that's going to make him look well, but also he wants to be developed and get better so he can get to that next step, which is his ultimate goal. There have been rumors that have popped around for a while that maybe USC was talking about him moving inside even more to the center position. I don't know. That's all speculation. I might ask a couple of people at that. I probably should have before the show. But right here, you got Roy Banuelos, who's the father of Micah Banuelos, who says Coach Henson and Riley sold me on Hanson. I mean, he's got a lot more information on this than me, and he's happy with it. I'm looking from the outside. I'm looking at. I do know that he is a great young coach, and if this is what USC needed to do to hold on to him, see, remember, there's situations just kind of like. Look at our Pete Carroll, right? You have this young punk Kiffin and Sarkisian, that they're, it was mad because, and to this day, goodness gracious, there's still people bitter about Norm Chow. And there was all of that drama behind Norm Chow and shopping around, looking for jobs in the offseason and blah, blah, et cetera. But he handed the reins over to Kiffin and over to Sarkisian, and people got upset. Well, these young guys, what have they ever done? What do they know? Coaches know coaches. And sometimes you if you have talent on your staff, you have to say, okay, look, do I feel that this guy can do the job? I know that he has the ability. I know that he's going to be a talented quarterback. And offensive line coach. And yeah, there may be some mistakes, but the upside and what he brings to the team in that room outweigh that. So would you like him to go out and get, go spend $1 million or $1 million, whatever the going rate is now, 1.5 on a top offensive line coach who's going to instant he says, I got this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy into the league. By the way, I think I'm wrong about Hansen on getting guys in the league, but I was right about the freshman All-American thing. You want to have someone's a proven commodity. Sometimes if you do that, you pass up on a guy that might be a young up-and-comer. So, I mean, I don't know. You have to rely on the administration, who I think has done a great job of filling spots at USC for the past 4 or 5 years. So I'm pretty, past 4 years. So not 5. So past 4 years. So I'm actually, no, 5 years. Because you know what? I really liked you guys. And I've said this for a long time. I said it way back then. I really liked the Clay McGuire hire from Washington State. And I attribute a lot of USC success in 2022 to his development of that staff and Henson taking over, a really well-oiled offensive line that Clay McGuire kind of brought together. So, for me to sit up here and tell you I'm excited, I'm neither excited nor disappointed. That probably a good way to say it. I see a lot of upside, and I think that Coach Hansen could be a lot of those things. Especially, again, I keep pointing back to it, but it's true. It's his ability to recruit might actually turn some heads. And let's see if he can recruit that offensive tackle position. We haven't had a hard time, really the biggest difficulty getting guards. But if he can bring in those top flight offensive tackles, I know that Coach Henson did a great job starting off with Elijah Page. That was huge, right? Getting him, and he played every bit that showed that he was 4+. But without, bringing in Alex Payne and Dunn last year. So there's a foundation here, but can we continue to bring in? I want to see if we have the money, because that's a big part of this as well. Do we have the money in our NIL in order to pull in these 5-star ready-baked offensive tackles? And is Hansen the guy to do that? We're going to find out over the next couple of years.
You got definitely.
All right, Dr.
Excellent,
C.
Sam. Well, yeah. Hey, excellent show. I love hearing it, and I'm rooting for this guy. We'll see how it goes. Absolutely.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy to root for. He just had a baby, so all you dads out there, pulling for him a little extra.
There you go. So, definitely.
We got a little guy in a Trojan outfit. So, all right, Dr. C, appreciate it. Great call, man. And thank you again. This show, we don't have this show without you guys. Fight on, man. Yeah, we don't have this without you guys. I love the callers. Dr. C, it's been a while, but appreciate him calling in. He was like one of our regular callers. We lost him sometime during the season, but glad to see he's back. Love our old time callers. I love my positive callers like Paulie Walnuts and Brad. I love my guys that just want to keep it real and be, just lead into that. Hey, the sky is falling. I love that. I love the sunshine pumpers. I love all you guys, and you guys do make this thing go around. Appreciate all of you guys being here. Hey, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Again, from Southern California,
Rodolfo. All right, listen, we're gonna let this one slide, but normally we don't have 2 calls in one day. But yeah, you got a second thought?
Well, yeah, I got a second thought. Is why do we not sign up more interior defensive linemen?
We just did. I mean that yeah. I'm not sure if you heard me, but let me well, listen. Listen. Hold on. Wait. You asked a question. So we just signed, basically, I think, for some reason, the recruiting services would like to, I don't know, maybe because they found out he's coming to USC. But you've heard of Jakeem Stewart, right? They just signed him out of high school. Floyd Boucard is a guy that, I remember first hearing his name from, I'm pretty sure it was Gerard Martinez, but just talking about his raw athleticism and stuff like that, and his get off and his motor. So, and then we've been high on for a while, Carlon Jones and Jide Absiri that we got the previous year. Ratmana Bulabalavu, who again is a young man who I really expect a lot from, and then Kobe Pepe, the grizzled veteran. But on top of that, they just added Keyshawn Silver and Jamal Jarrett. I mean, our defensive interior went from a weakness on our team to probably a strength on our defense. So I said it all year. I said it going into the year. The problem we had last year, and I'm sure you're on board with this as well, Paulie, was the fact that we had that whole debacle. I mean, even before you had the Bear Alexander issue, where he just, I mean, there's no other way to say it. He basically, quit on the team. You had Dejan Lafitte bail out right around spring ball.
Yeah.
And then Texas A&M guy, just said his name today. Who's the guy that came in for a cup of tea and left and then went back to
Chase. What was his name?
Oh my God, we got two old guys with bad memories up here right now. This is terrible.
No, it was a Chase something, I think. What's his name?
No, not Chasen Johnson. No. Not Chasen Johnson. Oh my God, this is killing me.
No, you're talking about. Are you talking about Rakes?
Isaiah Rakes. Isaiah Rakes.
Uh-huh.
It was his first name, Isaiah. I can't remember. Did he? But losing Rakes, Thomas Johnson. There you go. Right, I thought it was an A though. Rakes.
Rakes, whatever. Yeah, something like that.
Good riddance. He came in for a cup of tea, talked about how great he loved it here, and we should have known that the writing was on the wall because we needed defensive linemen. He came in, Rakes comes in, and I don't know if it was a combination or if it was just a plan. I mean, I think that was Matt Zemek's first one that said to me, I heard in all the space, saying there's a rule about transferring within the SEC, and he circumnavigated by coming to SC and then transferring back into the SEC. He was the first person. Good job, Matt. I heard say that. To do that. And they took advantage. Hang on a second. Sorry, he took advantage of that. But going into the season, we needed that guy, zero technique, that big just space eater, and we thought we had Rakes, and Dejan Lafitte was another big guy that they were high on. Yeah. And both those guys, because it's a position of need, they just both bail out at the beginning of the year. Well, what happened throughout the season? We lost leads late in fourth quarter. Why do you do that? Well, because your interior defensive line loses integrity and your whole defense starts on the interior. So we saw a lot of leads evaporate.
Okay, but that's fine. But Tim, my time in my beloved Marine Corps, never trust French Lafitte.
Yeah, the Vichy French, huh? We're upset. Hey, listen, we're upsetting all of those Notre Dame fans because what you forget about is they call themselves the Fighting Irish, but they were formed by a bunch of French priests. So, just saying, you're upsetting the Notre Dame establishment.
I'm Catholic, but my first loyalty is to my alma mater, which is USC.
We've had plenty of great Catholics here at USC, and there have been some guys like I don't think that Ishmael,
I could care less.
Rocket Ishmael. I don't think he was a French Catholic or an Irish Catholic.
I knew you were going there.
It gives me an ulcer when it comes to that.
Yeah, hell of a punt return though. Hilarious. Hell of a punt return. I still remember it.
Yeah.
He had a hell of a punt return to hurt SC.
I'm dealing with. I'm a USC alumni and unfortunately a Raider fan.
Oh, this is a good time. This is a good time for Paulie to make his big announcement. But go ahead. I was just in the belly of the beast.
It better not be that that clown Sedur Sanders is going to the Raiders, because you know what? I will disown the Raiders.
He's a good quarterback.
Go to the Raiders.
He's a good quarterback.
I cannot stand that guy.
Why?
So, big mouth, loud mouth, show offs. We don't need them.
Okay. Paulie, you want to share your big news? Or do you want to save that for your channel?
Yeah, I'm gonna save that. I don't want to upset Rodolfo right now.
All right. Yeah, Paul's got some big news when it comes to the Raiders coming up.
Colorado was nothing but a circus, big mouths, show offs, wannabes, and never will be.
You know, is that much Colorado's fault as it is the media's fault for hyping it and doing? I mean, let's face it, they were just doing what they do. I think it was the media that overblew the Colorado Buffalo program. I mean, you know, is it their fault that they want their 15 minutes? They're all incredible athletes having a good time. You know, I blame that more.
Incredible athletes, come on, Tim.
Huh?
Incredible athletes, come on, Tim, please.
What do you mean by that, Rodolfo?
Incredible athletes? No, they're not. No. Genty, honest to goodness, Genty should have been the Heisman Trophy winner because everybody knew that he was getting the ball and they could not stop him. I don't care what division you played in. If everybody knows you're getting the ball and they're not stopping you, no. I think
that Genty was a great back, and I don't want to get in a debate on this, but fine. Let's just say that Travis Hunter was the second best player in the country. Okay. They had and Shedeur Sanders is yes, he's a good quarterback and he's a hell of an athlete. Do I like all of this stuff?
No. He's a decent quarterback.
Oh well, I guess
decent quarterback.
I guess you know, if he had a better offensive line.
Comes to Hunter, I mean, come on now. No. If everybody knows you're getting the ball and they can't stop you, you can't tell me he's not the greatest. Not the greatest, I should say, but at the time, he is the best player on the field.
I mean, Woody Marks, I think, got more yards than he did against Penn State, didn't he?
Yes, I think he did. Yes.
Oh, Tim, now you're sounding like ESPN.
No, listen, I'm partially messing with you. Listen, I think Genty's an amazing running back. I am kind of messing with you. That's not fair. But I'm kind of giving you a little bit back, just a little bit, Rodolfo, because I think we need to give ESPN, we got to give credit where credit is due.
ESPN had a certain agenda. ESPN had a certain agenda, just like they put them on what's it called on the morning on Saturdays. I forget what it's called.
Game day.
Yeah, game day. And they put them right there.
Oh, I love when they root against us. When they pick against us, it means we're going to win. So they can pick away. They can pick all they want.
They suck.
They do.
Period.
But you know what? Listen, I'm not defending ESPN, by the way, Rodolfo. I'm not going to defend ESPN. But I mean, dude, Travis Hunter is like, is he the best corner in the country? Probably not. Is he the best wide receiver in the country? Probably not. Is he one of the best athletes I've ever seen in college? He is.
Yeah.
He's not either. Oh no.
All those reps he took could be hard enough at sea level. He's playing all those reps, all those snaps.
Matter how many reps you take.
A mile high.
No.
Okay.
Mile high. Have you been to Denver?
Yes.
I have been to Denver. It doesn't matter the oxygen you take. It's about what you're producing. And this guy was like, really?
All right. Hey, listen, Rodolfo. First off, before I go any further,
12.
What's that, sir?
Yes.
First off, we're going to be farther. Thank you so much for your service, especially in the Marine Corps, man.
Thank you,
that is awesome. We can disagree on this one. I respect your opinion. I think you bring it. And you know, again, it's not like listen, I got enough, especially online. My one of my dear friends was a huge Buffs fan way back before they even joined the Pac-10. And so I have a soft spot in my heart for Colorado. But I'll tell you what, Colorado fans online, I don't mean in Boulder or in person, but online have done a lot to damage that. And if I didn't have this love for this young man that I'm talking about, that was my friend's huge fan that's deceased, but loved the Colorado Buffaloes, I wouldn't have much positive to say because it's been that toxic from that fan base a lot. But what I will say is there's no denying what they were able to do, and the fact that they were overhyped wasn't them. It wasn't even Coach Prime. It was ESPN. They're the problem with all this. It's the Fox just hyping it up.
Call him what he is.
He's prime time, man. To me, my generation, that's prime time, dude. That guy. And when he became a coach, he was Coach Prime.
Aren't we all the same age? How old are you? I'm 46.
Well, shoot, I'm older than you, man. So, but you say that you didn't watch Deion Sanders? You didn't watch Deion Sanders be the GOAT at corner?
I do not like
and kick returns.
I do not like big mouth show offs.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just talking about him on the field.
On the field, yes, one thing.
God damn it, Gabe.
On the field.
Pardon my language.
Big mouth show offs. It's just not to me.
I got you.
I don't like them. Don't tolerate them. And just like it was in the Marine Corps, neither. No. Sorry.
Okay. Well, listen.
Sorry, not sorry.
I got you. Well, listen. Thank you, Rodolfo. Thank you again.
What, Tim?
Yes, sir.
Have a great one. You know what, Tim? Have a great one. And you, Paulie, I will never get over that. Paulie Walnuts. God bless and fight on. And hopefully we get into the playoffs this season.
You got it, Rodolfo. You got it.
Hopefully, or else Gabe.
Because we deserve to. Pardon?
I hopefully we do, because if we don't, we're gonna have Gabe over at Trojan Blade, gonna be gunning for heads to roll. So let's hope we get to the playoffs, because we're definitely gonna need that for sure. Rodolfo, you there?
I think he hung up.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, listen, we can agree to disagree. I'll tell you that. Caller, hang on one second. But just really quickly, you didn't get a word in there, Paulie. I mean, what's your take on Colorado? Just really fast, like your elevator.
On what you want me to make my announcement right now? Is that what you want me to do?
No. I want you to save that for yours. But no, I'm talking about Colorado. You know, I mean, Colorado.
I'll make it. If I'll make it, I'm ready. But anyway, no, Colorado. The whole thing with Colorado is it was good to see. And anytime college football is always better when those old programs are doing well. To me, it's more of a flash in the pan type of thing. We'll see. Really, I mean, right? I just don't see any longevity to this whole little thing they're having. If you look at it, you know, they got they're like 0-9 or something against top 25 teams, and
Deion Sanders not going to be there very long.
He's not going to be there very long. I see him moving there. He's definitely more of a Florida guy, and he's going to want to go dominate those areas over there and try to get Florida back on the map with the recruiting and stuff. So I don't see it lasting too long.
Gotcha. Hey, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Is Mr. P your father in the chat?
Mr. P, my chat father. Yes, sir. How are you tonight? That's an inside joke, you guys. Every time I see Mr. P, I talk about it over on Gabe's channel. We did this premiere, and every time I see Mr. P, I always think of my dad. So that's why I just made that joke, and then that's where our inside jokes. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I thought it was funny. But I mean, I wanted to bring up a topic tonight. Why are we picking up all these running backs when we let go Quentin Joyner? I think Quentin Joyner was really good, proven player, and then I mean we couldn't afford him, but then we're picking up like 3 running backs in the transfer portal.
I'll go really quick. Go ahead, Paulie. Yeah. You want first bite? I've got my take on that. But
the reason we're going, I mean, running back historically throughout, I mean, college institute. Let me start over here. The reason why is because you need depth. First of all, you need as many running backs as possible. It's just the way it is. It's always, man. God, we were just talking about it last week. Remember the group that Pete Carroll had. I mean, how many deep were those, Tim? Probably, I would say with Chauncey,
4 or 5 deep, easily.
5 deep. They're 5, 6 deep, and the guys stuck around. They competed. It's good to have that competition there. The
like
young
top
guys,
100 players in the country, deep 5,
deep 5. But then the freshmen that they're bringing in, it's just it with the offenses are set up now. There's guys that do things better than other backs, So, but it's good to have that competition there. And like I said, I'm really excited. I'm really excited with this group that we have. I think there's plenty of balls to go around with these guys. They're going to narrow it down just like they do during the season. But it's good to have that depth there because, you never know in today's world, in today's NIL thing. I mean, we could probably lose a couple. You never know.
And with that depth, I kind of see it this way as well.
Yeah.
One of these guys is going to pop. I mean, it's Anthony Jones. We talked about it.
Yeah.
He has a history of getting guys into the league. He's got an eye for ball players. He knows what these guys can do. Look at that room has produced over the past 3 seasons. I mean, you keep Travis Dye healthy, he probably rushes for 1,000 yards. Woody Marks went for 1,000. Marshawn Lloyd was damn close. Did he miss a game? Did Marshawn Lloyd miss a game? Can't remember. What that room has done. What that room
he
has
got drafted though. He got drafted, Tim, by the Packers. So
right. I mean, so what that room has done, and what he continues. Right. Exact. Good point, Paulie.
Yeah.
And what Anthony Jones has done just is a proven record that we're going to be okay. I mean, whether it's Jackson, Peterson, from last year's squad, if it's one of the new guys, Wormley or Dalton, or if it's our portal guys, one of these guys is going to pop and be that dude. And I think it's because they don't have the big names that we're used to seeing. I use the word big name. I mean, it's not like that their names were big names, but they were known in college football for producing it at a high level. Yeah. Except for Travis Dye, that's probably the biggest name we had. But I mean, watching all 3 of those backs we pulled in through the portal over the past 3 years, man, I'm going to trust in this and Coach Riley and Coach Jones until they show otherwise. And I'm just saying with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so with those 6 guys in that room, a couple of those guys are going to pop. I believe it. I mean, I've already seen enough out of Brian Jackson. I think he can be something really special here at USC.
Yeah.
So we'll play it by ear. And I know a lot of people are, and I know a lot of people are really, really high on Jordan Jr. Sorry.
I mean, are you going to say Quentin Joyner wasn't popping because you're saying we're taking chances? It's kind of a big risk to go for someone who we don't know will pop, as you're saying. And I mean, you're saying Riley has an eye for talent.
So back to that. Yeah, I didn't answer that question. My bad. Riley flat out said it. He's like, he says you got to look at this as a business now. And you're going to have some people whose market value is probably greater than their value. And I'm putting this as in a money budget value, not as a player, as a Trojan, or, as a human being. I'm just saying their role on the team is not worth the money that they could probably get somewhere else. Like let's say like an SMU. Okay. The situation is no one, go back, roll the tape. I've got hours of tape of me just sit up here going, how great Quentin Joyner is. I can't wait to see him on the field more. I did that for a long time.
Yeah. I love them. But you look at Jackson's ability though. These coaches see something. For them to just, for Quentin and all that to fall apart the way it did and him decide to go somewhere else. I mean, these coaches have to know, especially Anthony Jones and Riley together, the way that they've been putting this roster. I mean, they must have seen something in Jackson. And what I saw from him is the ability to catch that ball out of the backfield, those big soft hands, tree trunk legs, prototypical power, size. I mean, the guy is pretty much, he can do it all. And maybe they showed something we don't like Tim said a million times, we don't see what goes on in practice, but who knows what they saw where they felt, okay, we can let him go. So I'm gonna ride with Mr. Anthony Jones Jr. because he hasn't let us down yet.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else for us?
Yeah, I mean, I was just curious why we're getting 3 new running backs when we had one already, and we're paying more for that.
Well, we don't know. Well, we wait, hold on. Wait. Whoa, dude. No, we don't know what we're paying for any of this. We don't know what Quentin Joyner wanted, nor do we know what we're paying now. So I don't understand your comment about we're paying more for it now. What does that mean?
Well, so that's what I'm saying though, is like, we don't know. So you guys are putting a lot of faith in Riley that he's making the right decision by getting rid of Joyner. What we obviously saw was a good player.
Well, he didn't get rid of him. Well, hold on. Wait. Let's make our words accurate.
Well, then what happened to Joyner? That's the question.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. What happened with Joyner is he passed on him. He didn't get rid of him. He didn't cut him from the team. Quentin Joyner wanted more money than Lincoln Riley felt his value was. And why do I have faith in Lincoln Riley? Look at the past 3 years in our running back room. Look at Lincoln Riley. Look at Anthony Jones. Tell me they don't know how to run the running back room. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, then why do we go to get a bunch more running backs to fill a room where it's overcrowded now? Then
there aren't that many. By the way, just
guy from San Jose State, New Mexico, right? The Lobos guy. I mean, we're getting all these running backs. The JUCO guy.
Well, that's
why are we spending all this money on running backs when we had one that we knew that was good, on our team already?
So let me ask you this question. You've heard Riley's explanation. You've heard my explanation. Would you have thrown money at a running back when, as Paulie just said, in college, sure, you have those guys that are incredibly breakout players. And I was very high on Jordan to be that guy. But there's also holes. There's a reason. Why did it take him so long to see the field if he's the sure thing that I thought? I mean, I'm not a talent evaluator. Like I said to other people, I'm not at practice every single day. Why didn't he see the field more if he's as good as I thought he was and I talked about for 2 years?
Quinn Joyner didn't see the field?
Correct.
You're saying Quinn Joyner didn't see the field?
As much as I thought he was being
like our longest
75 yard end around, yeah. But why wasn't he getting 20 carries a game? Go ahead.
20 times out of 70. We threw the ball 50 times. We didn't run the ball. He touched the ball, three times a game?
That's my point. And my point to you is, why wasn't he getting the ball more if he's what I thought he was? Were there holes in his game? Were there holes in his game that we're not seeing because you and I aren't at practice? See, this is the problem I have with these conversations. You don't know. You're not at practice. You think they had it out for him? Is that what your theory is?
He had the costly fumble. He had some drops.
No. I'm not saying that, Tim. I'm on your side. I'm not trying to attack USC. I'm just saying that it just seems like we really push the throwing the ball on the field. I wanted to come on and defend Miller Moss because I was looking at the chat and people were bad mouthing Moss. I mean, you tell me a quarterback that has been successful this year throwing 50 times and running the ball 20 times. I mean, I just saw an interview with Brian Kelly the other day because Nussmeier, the great Nussmeier, who was supposed to be a Heisman Trophy candidate, had to throw the ball 30-something times and they ran it 20-something times. And he said that they needed to run the ball more. And that's not on Nussmeier. And Miller Moss was having to throw the ball 50 times.
Yeah.
Only run 20 times.
No. We should have. We should have run the ball. I mean, I can't think of a person on a show, on a YouTube show, on a radio show, on a national show, fans on message boards, fans on Twitter. We're all preaching to the choir. Everyone kept saying, again, especially in games like against Washington, the perfect example, Washington with a great pass defense in the rain, and we're still throwing it 50 times. Yeah, we're like, why? Why is this happening? Why aren't we running the ball? Why? Exactly. And what I'm saying is I think that I think maybe that my value for Quentin Joyner is inaccurate because I just go back to the fact that these guys are at practice every day. I'm not pouring through the film. I'll probably watch a game twice. You know what I mean? And I'm seriously not doing ISO on he's not in my running back room like Anthony Jones is probably doing.
Trust Riley that much, though? You guys trust Riley that much?
I think he knows something about offense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
he knows a hell of a lot more about offense than I do. I would say that.
You look at just coaching in general. I mean, who are we? I mean, these guys have been doing their entire lives, and sometimes you watch your team play and you think, and it could be anything from your NFL team to whatever your college team. Sometimes the game plan just comes up and you're thinking, what the hell are people thinking today? Whatever. We don't know what they see. We don't know what they're planning or what weakness they thought they could expose. You know what? It just happens sometimes. And you know what? I know as coaches, they probably think, you know what? We're not going to make that mistake again. Sure enough, you learn from your mistakes or whatever the case may be. But you do look at the fact that even though you're saying that we just constantly threw the ball, Woody Marks did have over 1,000 yards rushing, and he was a big part of our offense. So whether it was catching or running, whatever the case may be, and
blocking.
Yeah, and blocking as well. Yeah.
No blocking, no Rocky. Yeah. So, I mean, you make great. I mean, I'm not going to argue with your points. The issue I have with everything you've said is that we're trying to say, I think it's just this thing and it's natural. It's what we do as fans, isn't it? You know what I mean? Guys, we don't know more than the coach. I hear it all the time, every day, about people that aren't in practice telling us who's the better player, who has a better grasp of the scheme, who should play over who. The coaches don't know what they're talking about. At some point as fans, we need to realize that, coaches make mistakes, but when it comes to personnel and knowing who should be out there, their jobs, their livelihoods, their name is written all over this team. Why on earth are they going to play someone that's inferior? Why aren't they to give a guy that can help them win, not put the ball in his hands?
They were pushing the ball to Branch all year and not to Lemon. I thought that was kind of a big mistake.
Were they? I mean, we don't know. That's another thing people say. He was targeted more often, but do we know that they were trying to get the ball to him more than Lemon? And remember, Lemon was hurt a couple weeks, and he still, by the way, Lemon led the team in receiving yards and catches.
Yeah.
But
I mean, as an offensive, coach, you would think that he would know a little bit of defense, right? You would expect him to know defense so he can beat them.
He does. You guys, I got to stop you there. Anybody is questioning Lincoln Riley calling offense or knowing how to scheme up against defenses. You got to stop.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I mean, I hope I'm not upsetting you, but look, you're totally entitled to your opinion, but are we really going to sit here and think we know more about scheming and defenses than Lincoln Riley? Do any of us really think we do? Because more power to you guys. I hope you guys are offensive coordinators if you do, because he's one of the premier guys in the game.
Yeah. The NFL guys have come to study from him and learn from him. So, I mean, coaches, guys have actually taken time out of their off season to come sit with Lincoln. And I don't know.
There's tons of coaches that are very successful that fail all the time. I mean, look at the FSU coach. He was what?
Yeah, but Riley is not. See, but Riley's not. Okay. Yeah, but Riley's not unsuccessful. His offenses aren't unsuccessful. He puts quarterbacks into the league like it's candy. His offenses, until he got to USC, were averaging, 40 points a game. I don't know what to tell you guys sometimes. Maybe I'm cranky and it's tired and people are talking over me constantly and they still are. Maybe it's time for me to go have a nap. I don't know, but I'm sorry. Some of these conversations we repeat over and over again in our fan base, they need to stop. They come from, I'm sure there's a lot of people parroting this stuff and sending it out in videos like that. It's just not true. I don't know how to say it to you guys.
Yeah.
They don't know more than Lincoln Riley about Lincoln Riley's offense. Oh my goodness.
Oh man, I mean, I'm trying to agree with you, Tim. It's just like this year and last year, it's kind of sad.
Again, it's more nuanced.
Last year, this year, it's the offense.
Yeah, it's more nuanced than him.
I'm trying to hope for the best next year. Hopefully we get our offensive line figured out.
And listen, my frustration is not specifically with you. It's with a lot of people. Some of them in the media, some of them people on YouTube. A lot of it's on Twitter, and this groupthink that people get. I'm sorry, it's almost asinine that they talk about offenses like they know more, especially about this specific team. Forget, let's say that Lincoln Riley is not one of the preeminent offensive play callers in football, not just college football, but football.
Football.
Right? Mm-hmm. Football, period. Just let that one sit for a minute. Also, how many of these people that are telling us who needs to play and who's better than whom and who should do this and who should get more reps, how many of them are at practice? I got an answer for you. None of them.
Well,
none of them.
He won't let us see practice though.
Nor do any coaches, for clarity.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious to see, because everyone's saying, I think you guys were saying, or I can't remember if it was you specifically, but I heard people saying that he's going to be a very run heavy offense next year.
I don't think that we're saying that. I think we're saying we think it needs to
Someone
be.
said that. Maybe not you.
Well, no, well, give me a second. I have said that. And I know for a fact that Gabe has said that. We've had conversations about it. It's kind of obvious with the personnel that we have, with the question marks at quarterback that we have, that maybe, especially early in the season, we're probably going to rely heavily. We're going to need to rely heavily on it. And it's great because the schedule shapes up that way. And hopefully by mid-season, Jayden is just firing on all cylinders and we get to the meat of our schedule. But early on, we're absolutely going to need to lean on the run game. I really do think we're going to need to do that. But doesn't mean Lincoln Riley is going to do that. So it's just just a couple of guys' thoughts.
And then when Lincoln gets rolling, what game was it last year, Tim? He was just, his play calling was just off the charts. No, I don't even think anybody even praised him for that, man. No one even cared. But
it's such a weird narrative because there's so much crap coming out of Norman. There's so many haters out there. There's the Paul Feinbaums of the world.
They're always ripping.
They're not paying. Paul Feinbaum just a couple of years before said that he was a great home run hire, and then he spins around. It's just, you could say a lot of things. You want to do. People take shots at Riley. He's not a perfect coach. No. There's a lot of things he needs to work on. Believe me, I was way up here about Lincoln Riley as a head coach. I mean, I haven't given up, but it's taken some dings. There's no question about it.
I'm with you on that.
And how much of that is his control? How much of it is a personnel? How much can he control the personnel? How much of it is NIL? How much of it is the fact that he hung on to a defensive coordinator too long that may have set this program back 2 or 3 years? How much of it is the fact that they moved from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten? They didn't have Big Ten personnel. I mean, how many of these things really are you looking at and saying, oh, that's Lincoln Riley's play calling?
Yeah.
He picked the wrong quarterback. Yeah. It goes back to the whole thing where everyone wants, it's not just USC fans. It's not just sports fans. Everyone in this world wants it to be one little thing you can just tweak and everything's, bubblegum and lollipops. I mean, the world doesn't work that way. This team is way too dynamic. The problems when he inherited this job were massive. He has been his own worst enemy when it came to some of his personnel choices he had early on. But all that's getting fixed. Mm-hmm. We have to stay away. I mean, no, we don't. You can say whatever you want. And let me be very clear on that. And in my frustration, I swear to you, 100% is not with you personally. I want to make it clear. I'll be very clear. I've been kind of like, bit chippy. And it's two things. One, I am tired. I worked all day and I'm doing this. But the other thing is that I just
all I think is like, you're being very defensive, Tim, of me. I'm a USC fan, I'm not sure.
Well, I'm not sure. I think I'm probably being more offensive actually than defensive, because you made your point and I'm coming at your point. I'm not defending me. I'm attacking you.
Mr. P, can I say something? Can I say something, Mr. P? When people, this is what I tell everyone when it comes to Lincoln Riley. When you start doubting him, just remember when he promised us a better defense and a better effort at making sure we had the best coaching staff, all of it. He knew, this is just a coach evolving like all coaches do. Let me tell you, Nick Saban was not Nick Saban when he first started out. He absolutely sucked when he was at Michigan State. He was all right. He'd get blown out a lot too. But it's off and on. I keep hearing
people say that about Nick Saban, and I totally disagree.
Yeah, I don't think he sucked.
When did he suck?
No, I don't think he sucked. I'm just saying he wasn't a powerhouse like he is now. That's all I'm trying to say. But I'm just saying with Lincoln, what the whole more is my point is.
I was going to say, because everyone says that he does that, and I'm like, I looked at his record at Michigan State, and he was very successful.
Yeah. Okay, but getting away with that. Let me get to the moral of the story. The point I was trying to make is he promised us a better coaching staff, a better defense, and he came through for us. And I can tell you right now, we have one of the best units in college football. All right. I think it's going to get even better this year. And I'll stand by that. I'll definitely stand by that.
And there's Mr. P. I really hope you call back. But let's do this one. Let's turn the page and let's wait. Let's wait. And whatever we do, the rest of the chat, let's do this. Can we put the Miller Moss thing to bed? Because that's probably what got me jumping all over this poor man's comments earlier. I'm so God, that's one of the worst arguments we've ever had as a fan base was that whole debate. But anyway, hey, listen,
Okay.
Mr. P, it's getting late.
About me? Or you talking about Carter? You talking about Carter or me?
No, I'm not talking about. And I'm talking about just the entire argument. I think is one of the most ludicrous arguments in all the years of me watching USC football, when all the fans decided they knew more about who should be playing quarterback, and they hadn't seen one freaking practice. They hadn't seen Jayden throw one meaningful throw in the Big Ten, and we're already deciding that Miller Moss needs to go and he needs to come in. And all I simply kept saying to people was, I'm pretty sure that when that moment is that Jayden's going to give USC a better chance to win, he'll be behind center. So clearly in a shotgun, but not anyway. Hey, listen, Mr. P, we got to go. It's tired. I got to go, bud.
One more question. One more question.
Yeah.
So when would you not be a fan of Lincoln Riley?
If we don't get to the playoffs next year.
4-5 this season in the conference.
I just gave you the answer.
When would you finally because I heard Gabe's video, right?
Wait, Mr. P.
Trojan Blade.
Mr. P. I gave you my answer.
Yeah.
It's late. Yeah. We got to go. You asked me a question. I gave you my answer. Ready? If he doesn't make the playoffs next year.
Next year doesn't make the playoffs. Okay. Cool.
Correct.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Great call. Thank you so much. Appreciate you calling in. Well done. Way to hold your own. A lot of the fire wasn't your fault. Trust me. I'm just so tired of that.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, maybe I need a new job, because that's part of the job is to be patient and listen to those arguments. And I'm not talking specifically about the one he brought up. I'm talking about the ones in general
I'm with you on that, man.
The whole point of the show is for us to talk about our feelings about the program, right or wrong. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I want people to be more concise, really more, what's the word I'm looking for? They need to be more intentional with their words, because I hear a lot of stuff that's just repeated from the ether that's usually off base to begin with.
And let me, before I get ripped apart about the Nick Saban thing, I just wanted to clarify.
I'm going to rip you apart for it.
He had 24 losses, man. He wasn't Nick Saban in 5 seasons or something like that. I think it was 24 losses.
I don't think he killed it, but my point was being in East Lansing, the job he did in East Lansing, he didn't kill it.
Job. He turned it around.
But he showed enough for LSU to take a peek, and then we saw what he could do when he had
recruiting and
Baton Rouge kind of talent down there in Louisiana, as opposed to having that East Lansing talent that he was playing with. And let's face it, in the Big Ten, where East Lansing, hey, they've stepped up and had some really great teams in the Big Ten. I'm not saying that, but overall they weren't. He did a good job. He did a good job, not a great job. He didn't do the dominant job that you were talking about, Paulie.
Yeah, what I'm equating it to is the way he had those losses, and then he went to LSU and did better. That's the way when Lincoln took over this program, it was in complete shambles. I mean, recruiting, all of it, and he's taken some lumps, but I think we're moving in the right direction.
The lowest this program's been in my lifetime. Absolutely. Hi, caller. Thank you for being so patient. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Jim from Indianapolis.
Jim, we got you up late. How you doing, Jim?
Good, man. I always listen to your program, so that's why I am up late.
Thank you. Thank you.
I grew up in Southern California. Always been a USC fan since the 70s. And went to many games at the Coliseum. So I'm a USC supporter and love the Trojans. My question is, we all know after the playoffs that Ewers from Texas, he's going to be entering the portal. Am I right or wrong?
That's the word. That's the speculation, because I think that Arch Manning is going to be given correct.
Also depends on his draft status as well.
We know that.
Right. And as Paulie said, that there's the draft status situation as well. Yeah. Hey man, he gets hot.
Yeah.
That draft status might fly right through the roof. So yeah.
All it takes is one workout and he can
absolutely
left yards.
He's going to be the number 1 quarterback coming into the portal. We know that. And
Possibly.
there's a good chance, possibly,
If he enters a portal, he will be the number one quarterback. Yes, correct.
That's not going to happen. You know that. We know that. So he's going to be asking for quite a bit of NIL money, and there's a good chance he could go into the Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State, maybe another team. So why didn't we go after Urs?
Well, he hasn't declared. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
When he comes into the portal.
Like Paulie just said, he hasn't entered the portal yet, so they can't go after him. That would be tampering.
No, but he will. You know that, and I know that. We know he's going in.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
So this came up on the last show, and one of the best comments I heard, I'm totally going to steal it, and I wish I could attribute it to the person that said it, but it's full on. The amount of money he's going to ask for, we got to remember also is there's going to be I do not envy the position of a head coach having to balance all the egos and all the NIL money that's flowing around. And if you're handing $6 million to yours over a lot of these other guys that probably might be even, just as impactful, possibly. I know the quarterback position is a really important position, but maybe more impactful in the overall scheme of the team, or very, very close to, and they're getting a fraction of that $6 million. You might absolutely destroy that locker room. Could you do me a favor? Can you turn down your TV really quick? Because you're getting a lot of feedback, I think.
That's a good point. However, Riley likes polished, elite type quarterbacks. That's his thing.
That's
we
true.
all know that.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't he spend the money on Ewers to get us a championship?
Are we sold the fact that Ewers is going to win a championship for USC? I mean, do we think he's that good?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's going to be the number one quarterback going into the portal. He's a polished quarterback. Stark has had him for years. He's a polished quarterback
for sure,
and he knows how to win games. So I think Jaden, and Miller, they're good quarterbacks, but they're not at the same level as Ewers. We know that.
No,
right?
Absolutely correct. Now, also, this is the point.
Why wouldn't we go after him?
Yeah.
Why didn't we wait and wait until he went into the portal and had him come out to USC or Riley go see him and negotiate a price, bring him to USC?
Okay, so you're saying when he enters the portal, you want Riley to fly out there and give him what he wants and bring him into USC. So here's what I'm going to say to you. A couple of things. One,
Riley's done that with many quarterbacks.
Yeah. Give me a second.
Around.
Yeah. Give me a second. You've said that. Give me a second to respond.
Yeah.
Looking at this roster, it's not about getting the best quarterback for your team. If you're going to spend $6 million,
no.
What's no?
3 to 6 probably for him, huh?
Okay, so let's call it 4.5 then. So if you're going to spend $4.5 million, right, on a quarterback, do you think wouldn't we probably be better served maybe throwing about $1 million at a tackle, maybe another $1 million, and I don't know, and have all that $4 million to build the roster? Because I think this team, if you want to be a national championship caliber team, we need some impact players at multiple positions. And I think that you might be better served with the roster, balancing out your roster, using all of that money, not on one quarterback, when there's other holes that you probably need to fix if you do truly want to be, not just a playoff to get into playoffs, but to be a playoff contender. And I think that's a lot of the stuff that a lot of us aren't really looking at, is that money can be spent in a lot of other directions. Now, I got to say, I don't know what the market's going to look like after all the playoffs get done. There's going to be some marquee players out there. And let's let this thing play out. Look, if SC completely craps the bed and brings in no impact players as soon as all those guys go, I'm going to have some serious concerns about our how we're able to build a roster. There's no other way we can't have it. And remember, there's going to be a whole nother wave, not really as big and not probably as talented, but there will be talented players. that are going to be on teams in the spring, go through spring ball and realize I don't want to be second or third string, and they're going to enter the portal. And so if you throw $4 million, $4.5 million at a Ewers, unless you have unlimited money like some of these collectives have, which USC doesn't, they're well funded.
Yeah.
But if you don't have unlimited money, why are you throwing $4 million at a quarterback that can be spent on, again, getting some veteran depth at offensive tackle, make sure we have some quality and veteran depth at the linebacker position, maybe picking up.
Okay with that.
Yeah. So these are the reasons why. I don't know. Those are guesses.
Yeah. And not only that, you know how much that would probably hamper future negotiations where people are going to say, well, you paid him that much. I think I deserve that much. It's just a complete mess. I mean, it's a disaster waiting to happen. I think if they did something like that, to be honest with you.
And the market, it'll be a bidding war. And there's people that are willing to throw a crap ton of money at a quarterback because they need a quarterback so badly, so desperately. I mean, I'm looking at you. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think they have got who's a true freshman that they just brought in, Michigan.
Underwood. You got Underwood, who is once in a lifetime player. I mean, this guy's a physical specimen.
Possibly.
Possibly.
And listen, there have been a number of can't miss quarterbacks that have missed. But I am saying I'm with you. I think he has all the tools, all the talent.
Was one of them.
Will he be? Yeah, right. Will he be ready as a true freshman? Maybe they want to throw a bunch of money because heck, they throw all that money at Underwood. Maybe they got some more money just to rent yours for 1 year.
Well, okay. Well, these freshmen that come in, and we've seen it with Malachi. We've seen it with other teams. If they don't play, they transfer. So there's no guarantee that way. But with Ewers, he's going to be a senior. And he's going to probably be one of the top quarterbacks coming into the portal. And, $3 million, $4 million for 1 year to bring us a national championship, to get us back on board with recruiting. I think that's the way to go. I don't think Jayden is ready for the big stage yet. You've seen the quarterback at Notre Dame. What'd he do this year? He was a transfer. Where's he at? He's in the top 4.
He'll be back in Notre Dame next year.
Penn State. Yeah. Not bad. Notre Dame knew what they were doing.
Yeah, you're not going to get it.
We got to play Notre Dame.
People want to get on me all the time about and about what criticism do you have of Lincoln Riley? I thought we would never be in this conversation. Okay, Jim, I didn't think we'd ever have crap. Who's our quarterback going to be? I was sold on that Lincoln Riley is just going to have quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback, where we wouldn't be going, shoot, I hope Jayden can make this jump. I mean, he's got all the tools. We think he can do it, but we don't know, right? I thought the one position we would never have a question mark at was going to be quarterback. And it started out that, this whole thing kind of started out where, why do we have the Miller situation? I mean, let's face it. I saw what DJ Lagway did. Now, I don't know where it broke down with the recruitment of DJ Lagway, at all in any way, shape, or form, or the fact that he actually was initially, was it Rayola? He went to Rayola hard first. And
Rayola hard.
But whatever it was, and then it truly started going back to Malachi Nelson. And I saw Malachi, he was a great quarterback, but he hurt his arm. He was never the same after that. I don't know. I mean, I thought that we would be, maybe I was a bit naive thinking that we'd always have that guy, or that Lincoln would do as he has done throughout his Oklahoma career, bring in a transfer quarterback that comes in. They'd have a transfer quarterback that would come in and win a Heisman Trophy. That's kind of what I began to think was going to happen.
And Ewers, we just don't know, Jim. Jim,
there's was a Riley recruit. I mean, we thought correct. He would stay. He transferred to Boise State.
Well, no, he
transferred out of Boise
State. Kind of, but the more accurate description would have been he basically left because he wasn't going to play.
He was going to play.
And he wanted a guarantee. I'm sorry. It was said that he wanted guarantees, and he never, I mean, at the time he was at USC, we never really saw a healthy. I don't think he fully came back from that arm injury. And so again, it just leads to like, why are we trying to figure out last year and this year, why are there question marks at quarterback? That's the thing that's hard to figure out.
And Quinn Ewers still might go to the NFL. We don't know that yet.
Well, I think the playoffs will show who these elite quarterbacks are. And with Ewers, we know he's going into the portal. I thought for sure Riley would go after him.
Yep.
But
there's bigger.
Not the case because that's not going to happen now.
It's just a bigger. It's
we're left high and dry. Now we got Ohio State or somebody like Michigan possibly getting him, and we got to play those teams, and we got to play Notre Dame again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully get a feel. And like Paulie said, all he needs is one workout and have some general manager or someone in the front or some owner fall in love with him. And all of a sudden his draft stock goes up as well.
Get him on the chalkboard and it's over. Yeah.
Listen, Jim, great call.
Well,
man.
he's going to make more money. He's going to make more money staying in college for one more year than he would signing with an NFL team.
I don't think so.
He could do that the following year.
Yeah, that NFL money.
Think you go higher in the draft?
That NFL money is so gross for like.
And one more year.
I don't think NIL money.
A national championship.
They don't care about that anymore.
If he won a national championship with USC, you don't think he'd go higher in the draft?
Not necessarily. No, because it's one thing doesn't translate to the other. Winning, if you're a college quarterback, you win a national championship based on defense or based on other things, and you don't have the measurables, and you don't have the arm, and you don't have just the package. They in the NFL, they know what they want from a quarterback, and so that's why you hear all these guys from smaller schools like, who the hell is this guy? Well, he has all of those tools that they want in the NFL.
Trust me, if he has a chance, he will go.
And I think Ewers will probably be the number one quarterback in
the
portal, and he's a polished quarterback. That's
all right.
I
Jim.
don't understand why USC didn't wait and negotiate with him. So,
all right. Well, but remember this for the last one, Jim, so we could put this one to bed. They're not waiting and they can't negotiate. Well, hold on, bud. They can't negotiate and they're not waiting for anything. He's not in the portal yet. You can't start talking to a guy. That's the whole point of the transfer portal. And we've kind of gone around a couple of times on why it won't happen. Okay. All right. Hey, listen, great call.
After the playoffs, he will be in the playoffs or he will be in the portal. We know that.
Yeah.
Unless he goes NFL.
All right.
At that point, he's open game for, to be talked with.
We'll see, Jim. Good call, man.
I just wanted to throw that out there,
Yeah. No,
fight on USC.
Fight on, Jim. Jim and Indy. Good call, man. Yeah, we'll see. A lot of the stuff's going to sort itself out. A lot of it's going to be and again, a lot of these people that we're going to hear about, I mean, they're gonna come and we're not even know their name. I guarantee we get what is that noise? There's a really good chance that we're gonna pick up some guy probably in the next couple of weeks. And we never thought we had a chance with him, right? Because that's how this stuff works, you guys. Stop worrying about reading every tweet, every whatever. Oh, this guy's coming into town, which is great. It's fun. Hey, you recruit next, knock yourself out with it. But most of them aren't coming to USC. And just because you have a great quarterback, again, it goes back to that thing that drives me nuts. One move's not going to fix everything, you guys. And it may cause more problems. As I really wish I remember who said it because it was so spot on. You could lose the entire locker room. And by the way, Quinn Ewers would this be his third team, right? He started at Ohio State, got $1 million from them, goes to Texas, gets some millions from them. And then wherever he's going next, he probably is going to get millions from them. So it's not like talk about true mercenary position. That's gonna be Mr. Ewers, and he's gonna go the highest bidder. And someone said Miami in the chat. That's not a bad call, But anyway, all right. Well, we've been on for well over 2,000, Paulie. 2,000. Yeah, it feels like 2,000 hours. 2 hours.
I was getting fired up there, but one thing, give me a John David Booty and a great great defense, I'm all in, man. That's all we need at the quarterback position is somebody who can just run the ship, man, and let our defense take care of it. That's what I'm looking for.
Or maybe a legendary defense and a Mark Sanchez and have Tim Tebow cry for 5 minutes and ESPN hand them the BCS playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt.
Don't get me started about 2008.
Don't get me started on that. What are you doing? I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight, Tim, with that. Jeez.
Yeah. All right, guys. Listen, great calls from everyone. Thank you all so much. Let's see, Dave.
Roy Taylor for Jim.
Was that Rodolfo, Carter, Brad, Dr. C, Rodolfo, Jim? And if I'm forgetting anybody, I do apologize. Thank you guys all for being here. It's been a long haul.
Oh, wait, can I say something really quickly? Thank you to my son, Zach, and Chloe, and all the people from Albuquerque that were chiming in on the chats that were being posted up here on the main screen here. I thank you. I love you guys, okay? My daughter, all of them.
See, Gabe, you could have been putting up, our Albuquerque contingent, and you're putting up a Joy Taylor for GM. I mean, great job. And by the way, big thank you, as always, to Gabe, I'm paying a lot of money for him to produce behind the scenes. Actually, I'm paying him nothing. So I really appreciate him and being here. Wow, just past couple of weeks, it's been great having him here. Thank you so much, Gabe. Thank you to everybody, as always, who just shows a lot of support to the channel that you guys don't hear about, but I want to give them a thank you right now to Nico, to Gil Marin, to Rusty over at Arrogant Nation. Obviously, you just spoke about Gabe over at Trojans Blade, and the Voice College Football Network, again, well supported by them. Thank you guys so much. Remember to go check out Gabe's channel, Nico and Gil, Rusty, all over on Twitter. And make sure you go and check out Preston on Preston's Paradise, making sure he's at Fight on Preston on his socials, and Preston's Paradise here on the Voice on YouTube. It really is late. And thank you. And by the way, a personal apology to Brad and to Carter, and to Jim, really. Sorry if I was a bit curt with you guys. It's truly not you guys. It's the conversation. I think I need a vacation, because like some of these topics, I mean, I'll tell you what, you guys are spot on. The facts that you guys are making are good.
Yeah,
it just seems like it just seems like we're really speculating a lot. And I just want to see our fan base not to buy the hype, because there's a lot of people on the internet that are totally trolling, by the way. I know I'm not telling you guys anything, but are trolling people. And some of the narratives that get picked up on this fan base, sometimes I just want to shake my head. But all of you guys made great points. I'm not saying that whatsoever. Appreciate all of you guys calling in. And not one, we got through a whole show without a Joey Olsen, or did he slip it in when I was looking?
No, he's been slipping him in. Yeah, crazy. There he is.
I said the name.
Look at that head of lettuce there. Look at that.
Oh, listen. Big fan of Joey. Maybe he's going to take over in 2025. I'm sure he appreciates that picture, by the way, Gabe. That's probably his favorite one. But
come on, trying to get him on the show. This guy.
Oh no,
this guy. Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. Listen, it's late. We've been on way too long. Thank you all for supporting the show. Thank you all the chat. You guys want to go one step further? As soon as we're finished, if you guys drop some stuff, some comments in the comment section, that would be greatly appreciated. Really, really helps to get the video out there. Even if it's just an emoji giving me a big, give me a big middle finger. I don't even care. Just write something in the comment section. Appreciate you guys all being here. Some great pickups. Oh, we left out. Hold on. Sorry. One thing we left out. Yeah, Kevin Longstreet also signed at the USC. He's the brother. Did we get to that? I'm not sure.
We never got to it. We never got to it.
Kevin Longstreet also signed. He was at Texas A&M. He's the brother of Husan Longstreet, that came in as a freshman quarterback. He also signed with USC. And that does it. I think we covered everything. I can't believe I forgot that one. I want to make sure we cover everything. Thank you to all you guys. We wouldn't have a show without you. Look for us on Wednesday for our True Call-In Show at 7 p.m. All right. Friday night, guys, and I will see everybody on Wednesday.